And in this chapter, chapter 7, the sloka 1 to 3 that talks about the glories of knowing him. And then sloka 4 to 7, it deals with uh, how Krishna is the source of all material energies. And 8 to 12, that talks about he is beyond the modes of the material nature. And sloka 13 to 25, that deals different kinds of surrender. Um, and you mentioned that in chapter 1 to 6, we see bhakti through karma, and 13 to 18, we see bhakti through jnana, and 7 to 12, we see the pure bhakti yoga. And in sloka 1, you say that uh, the first 6 chapters is about how to become ashakta, and the next 6 chapters is how to become ashakta to Krishna. So if I want to receive Krishna Prem, then I have to surrender to Krishna. And Saranagati, that is pran for devotee, and without that, it is a dead body. And you mentioned that when there is no doubt, one will take shelter of Krishna, and that will lead Yoga Junjan, which is the regular practice. And this way, one will become Maya Shakta, I mean Ashakta to Krishna. And this process starts with hearing from Krishna or from his bona fide representatives. Uh, And then you talked very nicely about the service attitude. You mentioned that temple management, book distribution, all are situational identity. The real and the whole business is to become attached to Krishna and attached to pure devotees. And then if this is missing, then everything is finished. And you said that Krishna does not care about our voluminous services that we do, but only the checkpoint where I am attached to him. And you said that I should not ever thinking in that way. I should not ever service thinking in that way. However, I should remember that the purpose is to become attached to Krishna. And you said that real service will make me absorbed in Krishna. My attachment should grow through service, otherwise it is not service at all. And therefore, I have to focus on the service attitude, which is very helpful, Prabhu. You discussed in this sloka 1. So how to get attached to Krishna? The answer is by hearing from Krishna or from his bona fide representatives. And and you said the moment I am not connected to Krishna, then that means I am not under his shelter. And you said that appropriating and appreciating a mango or tasting a mango is total different thing. Similarly, one himself should be a pure devotee, and Krishna should be tested in one's life. And that is possible if we become attached to Krishna. And then you said that in the place where pure devotees live in that place, if one gets its chance to hear their constant flow of nectar, one will forget the necessities of life, namely hunger and thirst, and become immune to all kinds of fear, lamentation, and illusion. And we see that is true from your guess. And you mentioned that the secret of success in cultivation of Krishna consciousness is hearing from the right person. A Krishna conscious person is never disturbed by bodily necessities, namely eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And then in Shloka 7.2, I'll go quickly. You mentioned that knowing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Jnana. Experiencing Krishna through his service is called Vigyan. And you mentioned the example of the appreciating a mango. And and you mentioned that wise people should take shelter of Krishna, as Krishna mentioned in 10.10, and he will give intelligence who surrender to him, and he will take the intelligence if they are not surrendered to Krishna. And Sloka 7.3 mentioned that if we analyze this Sloka 7.3 and Sloka 4.8, then we will clearly understand that only a few people can understand about him. By Krishna's mercy, one can go back to him. And you said that we got Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Bhagavad Gita commented by Prabhupada. They are all in perfect knowledge. So, and if I does not take shelter of this, then I am a nothing but a suicider. And you said that accepting that I am a ordinary living being, actually or extraordinary thing. If I consider myself ordinary, then I can get mercy of Krishna and his bona fide representatives. So I'll go quickly in sloka 7.4 and 6. Krishna talked about different energies. For example, in sloka 7, Krishna said he's unseen, but he is the creator of everything. Whenever he does not need anything, then he will dissolve. And Krishna mentions about the example of garland, and you mentioned examples of different foundation and AI. And in this way, I'll next I go to slokas 13. You said that the more I surrender unto the three modes of the material nature, the lesser the chance I'll surrender to Krishna. And forgetting Krishna is an illusion, and then indulging in sense gratification activities is another illusion. And you mentioned that in the Sattva-guna, if I do not have knowledge of Krishna, then it is also an illusion. And you have given a wonderful example of spectacle or glass. You mentioned that if it is covered by ignorance, then I cannot see anything. And other modes will blur my vision, and these modes are blocking our vision. So we can understand these three modes of the material nature by the wonderful example of a spectacle. It may covered with the black cover or yellow or red, whatever it is, we cannot see the truth. And you mentioned that uh, if we listen the same lecture from our Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru, but realization is different. Why this is happening? This is because we look through different lenses. And in Sloka 14, you mentioned that how to translate the modes of translate these three modes that is described in this sloka. And this first part of this sloka, there is 4.A and B, talks about the power of Maya, and C and D that introduces the higher authority. So Jiva is the initiator, and Maya is the facilitator, and Krishna is the permeator. So Maya is not causing the problems. I want problems, so Maya is facilitating. So Maya is actually pushing us towards Krishna. In the exam paper, if the teacher will give just one answer for a question, that is not the right thing. So I cannot blame the teacher for my failure. So Maya's purpose is also good. That is why is it considered as Doibi Maya. And you mentioned that humility, inquisitiveness, and surrender. So Maya makes essentially as these three things. That is his. So that is Krishna's Maya. So humility, inquisitiveness, and surrender. And then you mentioned that surrender is one thing, and I must be active, constant, and conscious. So that is wonderful. And Sloka 7.15, you mentioned that if surrendering to Krishna gives us liberation, the why people does not surrender, that is described here. So probably I will stop here. Maybe Bhujanti Mataji will cover the rest of the shloka.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Mataji, can you just give a quick overview? The points which Prabhu did not mention, you may also give some ideas, some points from there.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Pranam.
Pranam.
So from Prabhu's section, Prabhu almost covered everything. So there were something here and there, like you mentioned from Srila Prabhupada's lecture how he wanted that he told that the whole business is how to develop attachment for Krishna, and I need to check in each of my activity in my service that whether I am getting attached to Krishna. So that is the important thing. You said that we are only busy in external engagement, but the internal involvement is necessary. And if the attitude that how to get attached to Krishna is there, then we can easily practice Trinadapi Shunichana and Nodhanam Najanam. And also, you mentioned that complete knowledge includes MSc, Jeev, Jagat, and Jagadishwar. And also, Prabhu mentioned this, that the moment I am disconnected with Krishna, I am not under his shelter. And you said that we need to take shelter of Krishna, not to take shelter of our relatives. And we can ask for guidance to devotees, and but devotees will say to take shelter of Krishna. So when we want to take shelter of Krishna, we will have to ask for Krishna's shelter, not for solving my problem. And you said that to practice to have regular habit of taking shelter of Krishna. So these are some points, and also in the next class. And you said in the association of pure devotees, one becomes attached to hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, and our main purpose is Shravan Kirtan. But if we keep Shravan Kirtan in background and we do lots of service, that will not help. And also, um, you said about to dive deep into Bhagavad Gita, we don't need PhD and other degrees, and also I will go to the next one. We already covered almost all the points.
Okay, if you do not have anything readily available, that's okay, Mataji.
And also you mentioned why we are maintainer and sustainer of this material world, because we have the desire to work here. That's why this prison house is there. But if we take shelter of Krishna and we go to spiritual world, there is no need of maintaining the prison house. But that is hypothetical. You said that there will always be criminals in the state. And also you mentioned that Arjuna, in 7.7, you mentioned Krishna is telling Arjuna, addressing Arjuna as Dhananjaya. So he is conqueror of wealth. But if we don't have the knowledge that Krishna is the maintainer, then there is no use of our knowledge and all the wealth. And also from 7.8 to 7.11, Krishna has given different analogies how we can see Krishna's presence everywhere in our day-to-day practice, like in the taste of water, heating power of the fire, and also the sunlight, moonlight, these things. So how we can remember Krishna all the time in these things. And 7.13, in 7.13, there was one point that the deeper one is in the influence of modes of material nature, the lesser there is chance to surrender to Krishna. So we are in double illusion. The first one is that I'm thinking that by drinking I will be happy. The second one is the drunkard thinks that after drinking he is happy. So if I think that I can become happy without Krishna, that is the first illusion. And the second illusion is without Krishna consciousness, I'm thinking that I'm happy with the other engagements. So that
In
is
which parts we have discussed this point?
7.13.
Really? Okay. I thought it is 7.27. Ichha Pramutvena
Yeah,
Dandam.
there also you mentioned, and it was also previously.
Okay. Thank you.
And also our problem is we are forgetful of Krishna, but the only solution is knowing Krishna in full. And Prabhu mentioned nicely that how Maya is Devi Maya, so I will not go to that. And then so why so in 7.14 we see that by surrendering to Krishna all our problems are solved. But now question may arise that why people are not taking shelter of Krishna, not surrendering to Krishna. So that answer is in 7.15. There are 4 types of people. They don't take shelter of Krishna. So Murha, they don't have time. They are always busy in working hard for sense gratification. And then Noradham, you said that they are Noro in shape, but they are Adham in activities. They are materially advanced, but they are not interested in spiritual life. But still, Murhas and Noradham, they have hope. If they come in the association of pure devotees, they can be Krishna conscious, they can be pure devotees once. And here Srila Prabhupada says about Lord Nityananda. So by the mercy of Lord Nityananda, Guru and Sadhu, Naradhams have hope. But Maya Prito Gyana, they will say that they already know the scriptures, and they don't want to listen. And also Osuras, they don't believe in the existence of God. And in 7.16 we see that Krishna is saying 4 types of Shukriti, no, those people take shelter of Krishna. So in 3 slokas at a stretch, Krishna is saying mam, mam, mam. So it means that we have to take shelter of Krishna. There is no other way. And you said that whenever someone is attentive in class, then sadhus become merciful to them. By the causeless mercy of sadhus, then we get little taste and we become more attracted to Krishna consciousness. So first, when we come to Krishna consciousness, that there is material curiosity, but from that we will have to go to the stage of spiritual seriousness. Simply my material curiosity will not help. And my real identity is I am Krishna's eternal servant, and then only we can get real peace. And even if and in Krishna's service we get always bliss. Even if we sometimes we cannot serve, Krishna is still still it is blissful. So Krishna always loves his devotees. And you mentioned how the most peaceful arena at our home is our altar. And you said how Srila Prabhupada said that we need to catch hold Krishna's lotus feet tightly, so then there will be no more fall down. And you said to take shelter of Krishna Katha constantly. Then Madhashraya Kathamishta, then Tapunti Trivastapa. So it's not hypnotism, it's truth. And we can never be happy in parents' lap. We need Krishna's lap. So Krishna's Vatsalya or affection can surpass millions and billions of mothers' lap. So we need to take shelter of pure devotees of Krishna. And you said that our desire should be pure first.
Okay.
Sorry, Prabhu. Okay.
No, in between actually it was interrupting, maybe because of my internet connection. Anyway, thank you both of you. So now we'll be seeing looking at the how did you get this reviews by the students? Just like we read in a sequence in every single class, we can also have some 5 minutes review by the students every class in alphabetic order. You can start like that. So from next class, we'll do that, okay? So just like this, Rupa Chintamani Prabhu, you give a reminder on the first reader. You can also give a reminder about the first 2 persons for 5 minutes each. They can give a recap of the previous class.
Okay, Prabhu.
We start from A. Okay, so now we'll see the 8th chapter. Please read.
How to understand this Rahasya of Bhagavad Gita? Lord Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So according to the statements of Bhagavad Gita or the statements of Arjuna, the person who is trying to understand the Bhagavad Gita, we should at least theoretically accept Sri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And with that submissive spirit, we can understand the Bhagavad Gita. Unless one reads the Bhagavad Gita in a submissive spirit, it is very difficult to understand Bhagavad Gita because it is a great mystery.
So the condition to study Bhagavad Gita is with genuine submissiveness and at least a theoretical acceptance of Krishna's supremacy. Then we can understand Bhagavad Gita. See, when we accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is the uh, first first phase, the first point where we make ourselves accessible to the mercy of Krishna and the devotees. Because when we are submissive, of course, the mercy, the causeless mercy from the Vaishnavas, it does not require any. It does not see any pre-qualifications. However, there is a need to make ourselves available to them so that they can give us mercy. So if we are not in Krishna consciousness, means we are not conscious about Krishna, which eventually means we are not interested in accessing Krishna's mercy because we are in the material consciousness. We like to be in the material consciousness. Therefore, there is no need for us, for the jiva in that conditioned stage, or in the conditioned stage, or we can say in the under the sway of the material influence. The jiva has no desire, no aspirations to get the spiritual connection. Therefore, we are not available there. If our consciousness is not there, that means we are unavailable. So how a person who is unavailable can get mercy? He has to be first be available there. So we should be available in Krishna consciousness. Then Krishna and his dear devotees can give their grace to us. We are making ourselves available. Uh, we are ready. We show or we prove this to the devotee and Krishna that yes, we are interested to get. Therefore, the initial submission is very important. Therefore, the process starts with pranipatena. Then pariprashna and seva comes. But first is pranipat. Without pranipat, there is no chance of getting causeless mercy from the devotees. So once we once we submit ourselves to the Vaishnavas and through Vaishnavas to Krishna, then the flow starts. Initially, probably very small in amount. And however, when we acknowledge that grace and accept it, put it into action, then more mercy is waiting for us in the pipeline. But the very basic, the fundamental principle to access that grace is to become submissive. So while reading Bhagavad Gita, we should keep this in mind, that the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to become Krishna's devotee, Krishna's pure devotee. So when we keep that purpose in our mind, then understanding Bhagavad Gita will be very easy, much easier for us. But without this proper mindset, even if we read Bhagavad Gita, shloka by shloka, purports by purports, we may not understand anything. Even though it is written, the scripts are there. The scripts are there, but the heart cannot connect that. That connection comes by Krishna's special mercy, which reveals the meaning of each verse, the significance and the essential message which Krishna wants to convey to us through his pure devotees will be available only at that time. Just like there are charitable persons who are giving different kinds of charity, and you might be there physically, but you do not have any container with you to contain that. So then how it will help? I'm there, but I did not bring anything to carry that charity. So similarly, that humble heart, that submissive heart is a fine carrier or the container to contain that mercy from Krishna and his devotees. It is very important. Okay. So we'll quickly go through the chapter 8 overview. So from text number 1 to 4, we see that Krishna, if you remember in the 7th chapter, in the last two verses, 30 and 31, Krishna spoke about few terminologies, which at that moment I told that this will be answered in the next class. So now hearing those terminologies for the first time, it was not for first time for Arjuna. Those terminologies were definitely there during that time. But all of a sudden, Krishna introduced those, which for Arjuna was bit out of track. So he asked that what are the meanings of these terminologies. So Krishna will quickly answer those questions. There are 7 questions asked by Arjuna. Krishna will answer the first 6 questions in the 1 to 4. Means 1 and 2 is Arjuna's question, and 2 and 3 and 4 is Krishna's answer. First 6 questions will be quickly answered in 2 verses. And the last one, that how in Prayana-kale one can make himself eligible to go beyond this cycle of birth and death, will be answered in 5, 6, 7, and 8. And interestingly, we can say that the whole chapter, rest of the chapter, actually evolve into that point. That how one can attain the Supreme Lord at the time of death. Therefore, this chapter is also called as Akshar Brahma Yoga, or attaining the Supreme in English. There are 2 kinds of Brahmans. One is Kshara Brahman, another is Akshara Brahman. We are the Kshara Brahman. Kshara means always changing in nature, always decaying, and Akshara is who is not decaying, is always constant. So this Akshara Brahman is Krishna. So how to attain that Akshara Brahman, how to attain that Supreme Brahman is the main theme of this chapter. Therefore, we call it Akshara Brahma Yoga. And then from 9 to 13, attaining that Supreme Brahman through the path of Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Bhakti, but also Yoga Mishra Bhakti. There's a yoga, the Ashtanga Yoga is mixed in that. And then from 14, 15 in these 2 verses, very frequently quoted verse by our Acharyas. As 14 to 15 is remembering Krishna in pure bhakti. From 16 to 22, how one can make himself attached to the Supreme Brahman by the comparison of material nature and spiritual nature. And from 23 to 28, what is the specialty of remembering Krishna in Bhakti Yoga? How and why it is easier than remembering him in Ashtanga Yoga. So the 6th chapter was Dhyana Yoga, or the process, the detailed process of Ashtanga Yoga. And the 7th chapter was about Bhakti Yoga, Vigyan, Bhakti Yoga. And 8th chapter is contrasting between these two, 6th and 7th chapter. And it is establishing that the Bhakti Yoga is much easier than Ashtanga Yoga. So 6, 7, 8, this is how these 3 chapters are connected to each other. The first sloka. Arjuna Pach. Kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma purushottama adhibhutam cha kim proktam adhidaivam kim uchyate. So Arjuna is asking, Kim Tat Brahma? What is that Brahman that you have mentioned, that Krishna has mentioned? Kim Tat Brahman? Kim Adhyatma? What is Adhyatma? What is Brahman? Kim Karma? O Purushottam, what is karma? What is Adhibhuta? And what is Adhidaiva? So how many questions he asked here? 1, Brahma, then Adhyatma 2, then Karma 3, Adhibhuta 4, and Adhidaiva 5. Next sloka. Adhijagga katham potra dehashmin madhusudana prayana-kale cha katham gyashi niyatam niyatatmabhi. Those who are self-controlled, how they can attain you at the time of Prayana-kale cha katham. How can they know you, or how you can be known by them at the time of their death? Means how they can actually focus in you at the time of death. That is the actual meaning. So there are 5 questions in the previous verse, and there's Adhiyogas, 6th, then also Prayana-kale, 7th. 7. These are the 7 questions as we have discussed earlier. Okay. So if we quickly go through these 6 questions what Arjuna asked. What is Brahman? So Brahman is the Jiva. Since these terms, especially Adhiyaga, Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva, will not be discussed or referred back in Bhagavad Gita again in future. This is the only one place when Arjuna asked, Krishna answered. So Krishna will also be answering very quickly. We'll see that in the answers section. Karma already we have discussed before. Karma is, there are few ways to see karma. It's the karmic reactions, then types of karma, karma, vikarma, and then there's a cycle of karma and karmic result, and then fruitive activities, different kinds of. So that question is Arjuna again asking here. Now Krishna will give the answers. There is a very beautiful purport in the text number 2, but I'd like to read that little later. So I'll come back to this. Before, prior to that, let us see Krishna's answer. I'm sorry, this text number is wrong. It will be text 3 actually. Okay, let me correct it here. So Krishna is giving answers now. Shri Bhagavan Uvach. Aksharam Brahma Paramam Sadhava Svabhavadhatmam Uchyate Bhutabhavadbhavo Kara Visharga Karma Sangitaha. Aksharam Brahma Paramam. The indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman. So who is indestructible? Jiva and also the Supreme Lord. We are also Brahma. Krishna is also Brahman. We are the tiny Brahman. Krishna is the complete Brahman. Nitya Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. We are also eternal. Krishna is also eternal. We are conscious being. Krishna is also conscious being. But Krishna is the supreme among all the conscious being. Krishna is the supreme among all the eternal being. So Aksharam Brahman is it can refer both to the Jivas and the Supreme Lord. But here particularly it is mentioning, it is pointing towards the Jiva Brahma or the living entities, with the living entities. Swabhava adhyatma buchyate. So Brahman is that indestructible jiva, and adhyatma is their eternal nature, swabhava, adhyatma. There is one swabhava, there is another swabhava which is our temporary nature, or when we act under the influence of the material nature. That is one kind of swabhava. But adhyatma means our eternal nature, or when we are under the control of the internal potential Krishna. When we are connected with Krishna, then our swabhava becomes adhyatma. That is called adhyatma. Bhuta bhavat bhavokara visarga karma samgita. And karma is that activities which makes the jiva come into existence every time. Bhuta bhavat bhava. Bhavat bhava kara means produced from the material activities. Because we are continuing, we are lingering into our material activities. Therefore, jiva is again and again and again taking part. Bhuta bhava, udbhava, bhava udbhava. By continuing our fruitive activities, we get the birth again and again. Therefore, we create various activities. We create the resultant actions of our activities, means karma. Visarga karma samgitaha. Adhibhutam ksharo bhava purushashchadhidaivatam adhiyagga aham evatra dehe deho pritambara. Deho vritam means one who has assumed the body, this material body, and among them Arjuna is called as the best, Varo. Deho Bhritambara. Oh, the best of the embodied beings. Adhibhutam Ksharo Bhava. Adhibhuta is what is Adhibhuta? Adhibhuta is the physical manifestation, or the Virat Rupa. The Virat Rupa, not the Virat Rupa, the material nature. Virat Rupa is the Adhidaiva. Adhibhuta is the material nature. So this physical manifestation of the Supreme Lord is called Adhidaiva, Adhibhuta, this material nature. And that material nature is actually what? In nature it is Ksharo Bhava. Ksharo Bhava means constantly changing. Akshara is not changing, Kshara is changing. So in nature, Ksharo Bhava, in nature, this material world or the material energy, the manifestation of the material energy is Ksharo Bhava, is always changeable, always changing. Purushascha adhivadaivatam. And that Supreme Purush, when he manifests himself, or he manifests himself as Virat Rup, which contains the demigods, the living entities, all the sun, moon, the whole universal creation, that is called Adhidaiva, or the Virat Rupa. Purushascha adhidaivatam, and then Adhijagga aham evatra. And who is Adhijagga? Adhijagga is the Adhijagga aham. Krishna is saying, I am the Adhijagga. Adhijagga aham. I am the Adhijagga. So Krishna is the Adhijagga. So Krishna in his super soul form, he is the Adhijagga, because he is accepting the sacrifice of all the jaggas. We'll see in 9.24. 9.24, Krishna will say that Aham Prabhuriyeva Jagga. I am the Lord of all the sacrifices. Kroturaham. All the Vedic and the Pancharatrika Jaggas, I am the owner, I am the beneficiary of all different kinds of Jaggas. So therefore Krishna is called as Adhi Jagga. Adhi means one who is above, and Jagga is Krishna's another name. So Adhibhuta is the material nature, Adhidaiva is the Virat Rupa, and Adhijagga is the Supreme super soul. So Paramatma's super soul is the Adhijaka. Okay, so these are Krishna's answer for Arjuna's first 6 questions. And the next verse is very famous verse. You all know that. 8.5. Frequently quoted verse. Antakale cha mamiva smaran mukta kaleva. So let us go through that purport in that text number 2. Please read. Who's the next reader?
Pooja Mataji, are you available? Priya Shakya Mataji.
Hi Krishna Pranam. The word Kale in this verse is very significant because whatever we do in life will be tested at the time of death. Arjuna is very anxious to know of those who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness. What should be their position at that final moment? At the time of death, all the bodily functions are disrupted and the mind is not in a proper condition. Thus, disturbed by the bodily situation, one may not be able to remember the Supreme Lord. Maharaja Kulashekara, a great devotee, prays, "My dear Lord, just now I am quite healthy, and it is better that I die immediately so that the swan of my mind can seek entrance at the stem of your lotus feet." The metaphor is used because of swan, a bird of the water, takes pleasure in digging into the lotus flower. Its sporting um, proclivity is to enter the lotus flower.
So, Prayana-kale, which is the main theme of the whole chapter, basically. So Srila Prabhupada took that from the second verse itself, even though Krishna has not started to speak about it. So Srila Prabhupada in that Prayana-kale is very significant. It's very significant. Prayana-kale. We have seen this Prayana-kale before also in the previous unit in text number 2.72. So Prayana-kale, how are we situated at the time of death? Prayana-kale. Whatever we do, Prabhupada said, whatever we do in life will be tested at the time of death. Or we can also put it in this way that whatever taste we are relishing, we are enjoying throughout our life will be tested at the time of death. So how are you shaping your taste is going to determine what kind of taste you'll get at the time of death. So developing taste is very important. T-A-S-T-E, taste. The taste what we are now developing, it will be tested at the time of death. So throughout our life, if we only taste the material world, then definitely at the time of death, when the test comes, then we cannot remember Krishna. We'll be only remembering the material world, the material nature. And if we develop our taste in Krishna consciousness during the life, then at the time of death, the devotee, even though he might not be in external consciousness, but he'll be able to remember Krishna at the time of death. Because that is what he has done throughout his life. In Krishna consciousness. Always he was in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, it is very significant. It's a very simple analogy. Everyone can easily understand that. If a boy does not study well throughout the year, then definitely at the time of exam, the year-end exam, he'll not be able to pass that exam. He'll definitely fail because he had not taken the opportunity to study throughout the year. So similarly, if we do not study throughout our life properly, then what shall we write? What will we write in the script in the exam? Exam is the final exam of the life is the death. This life and death, it may sound that the death is at the end of the road of life. It sounds like that death will come at the end. But actually, life and death is only distanced by a simple dash, hyphen. Right? When you write life, death, we just put one dash. Or you can also write life and. So one and is in between. You see, the and in between life and death is the real test. What we have done in between the life and the death. But death is actually always sitting close alongside the life. Death is not somewhere very far or a very distant aspect. No, death is there alongside the life. You may or you may not understand that, but that is the fact. That is the fact. Sometimes we experience some uh, things happen in our life which gives us that some glimpse of death. Like for instance, sometimes devotees, sometimes with the jivas, a person, he undergoes such excruciating pain in the body or some mental agony. They feel, or it is being felt by them as if they are on the verge of death. So death is actually another kind of klesha. There are three types of kleshas we know. Adhi Daivik, Adhi Bhautik, and Adhi Atmik klesha. So these kleshas are kind of the younger brothers of death, always preparing us, giving us the glimpse of death. And in any such incidents where we have Adi Bhautik, Adi Atmik, or Adi Daivika klesh, we may die at any time in those kleshas. Or we can say sometime we may not die, but we'll be exhausted gradually. Day by day, we are getting exhausted by this threefold of miseries. Sometime Adi Bhautik, Adi Atmik, and sometime Adi Daivika klesh. And we are struggling with this threefold of miseries since time immemorial. The jivas are struggling. Sometimes they are able to find some solution to it, and sometimes not. But that solution is not permanent though. With the development of scientific revolution, the uh, development of medical science, we think that we'll be able to cross this over. But every single time we try to face them, we feel how much helpless we are in front of these kleshas. Sometimes we can see some good results, but that too for the time being. And again, something newer comes, newer and newer and newer things comes. And we are always troubled by them. As in the Srimad Bhagavatam mentioned that Prayana-kale Shravya Kalavashvina Jugeja Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagahi Upadruta. We are already given a very limited time span. Prayana Alpayusha. Alpayu. And that too disturbed. He upadruta by different upadrava, disturbances. At the time of birth, we are disturbed by, even before taking birth, before the delivery, we were troubled by the insects in the mother's womb. It was painful, but we have forgotten that memory. Therefore, we don't feel that. But when in our grown-up body, if some insect comes and bites, how much painful it is. If any of you have the experience of being bitten by the wasp, you know how painful it is. So during the pregnancy, when the embryo is within mother's womb, so all different kinds of insects and worms will be eating our body. Very delicate body at that time in the mother's womb. And that too, the place is also nasty place. But for so many months, we are living there. It's a clash. It is definitely a clash, but we don't realize it. And then when we are delivered to this material world, we come here. Our relatives and family members, they feel that, okay, we got a new source of happiness in the form of a baby. But only the baby knows how much painful it is to lead his life. Sometimes the baby cries, the parents they don't understand what for this baby is crying. They gaze so many things, but the baby knows what they need. And maybe sometime you give all the facilities to the baby, still he is crying. Nobody knows what is the reason behind that crying. But from Shastra we can put one Anuman at least that he is crying for Krishna. Because all the material facilities are given, but still he is not satisfied. And then when we are grown up also, so many other kleshas. Sometimes, fever, temperature is there, and headache, sometimes stomach pain. And when we are in our boyhood, then our parents they say, you now have to go to school. That is another pain. Who wants to study? Then we have to go to the school, and then we get chastised by our teachers. And sometimes there's an unhealthy competition between the classmates for getting good grades in the class. So always under the pressure, and that pressure is called klesha. During the monsoon, sometimes it is heavily raining. During the summer, it is scorching heat. During the winter, it is freezing cold. Always throughout the year, we are under the clash. And when you try to solve these problems, for example, while you are going through scorching heat, a high temperature, outside temperature is very high, and along with the humidity, it became worse. Then you put an AC. But after some time, when the AC is continuously running, then you may also get running nose. So much problem. You to solve one problem, get another problem. This material one. Always disturbed. Manda bhagga hi upadruta. And therefore, in scriptures, we are entitled as Manda bhagya, ill-fated. Ill-fated. And while going through all this ill fortune, anytime we have to experience our last breath. So death is alongside the life all the time. So that Prayana-kale, nobody knows their Prayana-kale. Somehow Srila Parikshit Maharaj was fortunate to know his Prayana-kale. He knew that he is going to survive for 7 more days. But we do not know whether we'll live 7 more days, 7 more months, or 7 weeks, or just 7 seconds? None of us will know that. Therefore, for us, what is Prayana-kale? We do not know what is our Prayana-kale, but actually we know what is our Prayana-kale. Because not knowing what is our Prayana-kale is the best answer of what is our Prayana-kale. Our Prayana-kale is at every moment. At every moment, we are in Prayana-kale. We are at the verge of Prayana-kale at every moment. We may or we may not understand that, but that is a fact. That is a fact, Prayana-kale. If it is said that. The word Prayana-kale in this verse is very significant. So we'll be tested at the time of death. So what can we tell in this regard? That we'll be tested. If we do not know what is the last moment, when will be the last moment? When is our Prayana-kale? And our Prayana-kale is our death. Means Prayana-kale is death and will be tested at the time of death. Then if we ask this question, when is the test? When will be the test? In Bhakti Sastri, we know that at the end of each unit, we have a test. As soon as we are nearing to the closure of the chapters, then we know, okay, when we are starting 6th chapter, we knew that, okay, in few days we'll have exam. Similarly, in unit 2, when we'll go to the 12th chapter, we'll know that, okay, our exams will be very soon. In every case, you know when the test is going to come. In the school, in the college, you are studying, but you know that at the end of the year, there is exam. When you go for giving a job interview, you know that you are waiting in the lobby and you are the next person to be called. So you know when is your exam. But only one thing in life which none of us know about, it is death. Death is the ultimate bipad. That ultimate danger is death. Just like we say that when that danger will come in our life, we have no idea at all. Padam padam yad bi padam. At every step, we are in the dangerous situation. But what is the most precarious situation? The most precarious situation is when you do not know the solution of it. And the other precarious situation, you may find some solution of it. You are getting some bad weather, you can do some remedy of it. When we were getting some painful experiences, some mental torture from anybody, then you may leave the place or leave the relationship and you can make yourself free. So all other dangers might have some solution. But there is only one danger which has no solution. We have to helplessly face that danger. That is mrityu, death. So Arjuna is anxious to know. Then those who are in Krishna consciousness, how will they die? What will be their position at the final moment? Just like if we see that a boy who is not studying at all throughout the year, do you know what will be his situation at the time of exam? Answer is simple, yes. He has not studied, he will fail. He'll fail in the exam, he cannot pass. Someone who has studied well throughout the year, for them, if this question is being asked, then we cannot give any guarantee. For those who have not studied, we can give a guarantee. We can assuredly say that yes, he'll fail. But someone who has studied well also, we cannot give any guarantee. We may say that yes, hopefully he will be doing good in the exam. But you see the difference between these two? One who has studied, there are chances that he will pass. One who has not studied, we can tell it very easily. Our intuition or our no, common sense, there is no need of intuition. Our common sense can easily tell that he cannot pass. But someone who has studied, there is no guarantee that he will pass. Hopefully, he will pass. So, what is the significance of this analogy here? For a devotee, if we think that I have done very good Hari Bhajan throughout my life, still we cannot give any guarantee. If we don't do bhajan, then okay, we can, like straightforward, we can tell that he'll not be able to remember Krishna. But someone who has remembered Krishna, who has practiced Krishna consciousness in life, even for him, the test is going to be very, very uncertain. Because we don't know what type of question paper we have to face in the exam. Even if I have studied well, the question paper may be very, very difficult. Just like that, it is not our own effort. Our own effort is not everything here. Yes, it has significant amount of significance, that our own endeavor to remember Krishna. But even if we remember Krishna at the time of death, we don't know what kind of hidden thoughts and desires, aspirations we have knowingly or unknowingly fostered throughout our life in one side of one remote corner of our heart. So that may also surface at the time of death. Not so easy. Not so easy. Therefore, even if we have done a rigorous and vigorous study throughout our whole life, being in Krishna consciousness, but the exams are going to be extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. So please be careful about it. Therefore, this Prayana-kale is so important for a devotee's life. Therefore, Arjuna is anxious to know. Even though we are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness, what may happen, we don't know. What should be their position at that final moment? At the time of death, all the bodily functions are disrupted. This is the problem. The whole lifetime, you have nicely taken care of your body, and the bodily functions it was functioning well. But everything will be dysfunctional at the time of death. There were sometimes the physicians say that, okay, this organ failed, that organ failed. All the organs are failing at the time, before the time of death. When the death is nearing, organs are getting failed by one. So, at the time of death, when the body will not support us, and the mind, which were too much obsessed with the body throughout the life, is it not the case for us? Throughout our life, our mind and our consciousness is mind, intelligence, everything is directly attached to the body. How to give gratification to the body? We are always looking for bodily gratification. So what will happen? It's very easy to say, quite easy to say that at the time of death, you cannot remember well Krishna. If we are always remembering our own enjoyment, how to give enjoyment to the body, then how can we remember Krishna? How can we remember Krishna? What we have been remembering throughout our life, at the time of death, we'll also remember the same thing. Because our our remembrance, the faculty of remembrance by the mind and the heart were completely absorbed in the body. And when the bodily limbs are dysfunctional, when body dysfunctions, disrupted, then mind is attached to the body. So mind will also be disrupted. We cannot remain unperturbed at the time of death, because throughout our life, we are always thinking about body, 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 and body. So at the time of death, also we'll think about the body and the bodily relationships. Right? Is this illogical? It is very difficult to understand. Throughout our life, we are only thinking about the body and somebody and something which is related to the body. So definitely at the time of death, we'll only remember body. So because of this bodily dysfunctions, when the body will become dysfunctional, our mind is attached to the body. So our mind will also not be in a proper condition. What is proper condition? Proper condition is the mind is unattached to the material world. Why it is called proper condition? Why remembering or why obsessing on the body is improper? Why is it improper? It is improper because, see, you know that there is something which you need to, you have to give up at a certain point of time. But you are still remembering that. You are willingly, intentionally getting attached to that thing. Is that proper? Is that mood proper? Is that mentality proper? If I know that I am going to give up this particular thing, someone has given me some, say some $100, and he said that after 2 months, I'll take it back from you. Now, for the time being, please keep it with you. So what am I supposed to do with those $100? Keep that properly in a safe place. And then when the person wants it back from us, then we have to give it back. Even though there are $100 or say $10,000 in your almirah, in your chest, then can you become attached to that? Because one day this has to be again given up to the person who is actually the owner of this amount. So this body, this whole existence, this material existence is created by the body is born out of the material nature. Right? In 7.4 and 5, 7.4 and 5, we have studied that how the body is simply the product of Khiti Optej Morut Bom and Manobuddhi Ahankar. So this material nature has given me this body. That's at certain point of time, the material nature will again snatch that away from me. Or say, like normally you have to give it up. So if we are always thinking, of course, we have to take care of this. Someone has given me this amount, I have to safely take care of it. But if I become so much obsessed that I have $10,000, I have $10,000, I have $10,000 in Malmira, what is the use of it? First of all, it is not mine. It belongs to someone else. But we are always thinking of that. Here is my body, and here is the relatives connected with my body, my wife, my handsome husband, my beautiful wife, my cute children, my uh, very darling parents, and all these things we are always remembering. By remembering those, by being attached to them in this way, we're simply inviting our death more closer. Death, anyway, it will come, it is inevitable. But we are actually fastening the process. We are actually, speeding up the process. Why? Because the more we are getting attached to them, every single moment it gives us a death-like experience. Even though it is not death, but it's a death-like experience. Somebody says something to us who is very near and dear to me, and I feel like, okay, let me go and die. I don't want to continue my life. The pain was so heavy, I can't tolerate it. And by being attached to them, we are actually growing older very fast. in this material world. So being attached to the body and being attached to the bodily relationships is simply suicidal. Just like in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is one verse that we have studied in our Upadeshamrit, Ishopanishad. Nirdeho Madham Shulabham Shudurlabham Shukalpam Plavam. And then finally, there is a phrase, Shaiva Atmaha. Despite getting all these facilities, if he does not take care of this body by engaging it properly in Krishna's service, then he is simply committing suicide. All his actions are suicidal actions. So we are actually committing suicide. So we are dying every moment. So therefore, at the time of death, what will be the mental state? I know that I'm going to give this body up and all my relatives connected to this body. But still the mind says, no, I don't want to give them. Just like that person who does not want to give back that $1,000, $10,000 to his friend. This dollar did not belong to him. But he started to think it is mine, it is mine, it is mine. So definitely the destination will be very much shameful. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahasaya says, Ebena bhojile Jashoda Shuto Sharame poribe laje. You will be in shameful state if you do not worship Krishna, the son of Mother Jashoda, right now. Then you will be shameful at the time of death. So therefore, we have to practice a Krishna consciousness and keep ourselves aloof by not being attached to the material objects. Because these objects, anyway, we have to leave. We have to give up. So therefore, the shloka, the purport says that we will not be in the proper, at the time of death, when all the bodily functions are disrupted and the mind is not in proper condition. I know I have to now take leave, but still I'm remaining attached to the things which is around me. So I cannot leave that place because I'm very much attached to that place. So the mind is not in proper condition, means that mind should be, at the time of death, the mind should be attached to Krishna. Because now we are leaving this place and we have to go back to Krishna. But if we do not remember Krishna at the time of death, through our mind, through our intelligence, through our emotional involvement, then we cannot go back to Krishna. But we are actually supposed to go to Krishna, but we are not in proper condition. Thus, disturbed by the bodily situation, one may not be able to remember the Supreme Lord. Because it was always attached to the body, but bodily limbs are now dysfunctional. And the mind is also now obsessed with the body. Therefore, he cannot remember Krishna. He'll be unable to remember Krishna. Maharaj Kulashekar, a great devotee, prays, my dear Lord, just now I am quite healthy. This is the famous verse, Krishna tadiyo padapankaja panjarantam. Adaivam vibhishud manush rajahumsha prana prayana shamay kafubatu pittui kantha varadhanu vidho smaranam kutaste. How can I remember Krishna? How can I remember you at the time of death, my dear Lord? Smaranam kutaste. Because at that time, all these three things, the kapha, pitta, and vayu, will be in imbalance, in complete imbalance. And therefore, I cannot produce sound properly. My mind will be in a delirium state. I cannot remember you, Krishna, at that time. And my intelligence will be tangled with so many material things. It will not act properly. So I will not be able to remember you, Krishna. Therefore, Adaiva me Vishwatu Manush Rajangsha. The swan of my mind, let it be attached to you, Krishna. Completely attached to you, Krishna. You are like the stem of the lotus flower. Your lotus feet is the stem. Like just like the swan would like to, when it likes to release the nectar coming out from the stem of the lotus flower, it goes inside so much that at one certain point it is unable to come back from that place. Is fully into it. So Kulashekar Maharaj is praying, let my mind become like that. It enters into the stem of your lotus feet uh, with so much deep uh, involvement that so that it never comes back. It never even thinks of coming back from that situation. So, my dear Lord, please allow me to do that. Let me die now. What is the meaning of let me die now? Okay, you might think that, okay, it is the devotee is praying that Krishna, give me death now. It's not so simple that just praying Krishna, Krishna, please give me death now. The point here is that when one is completely remembering Krishna, his mind, intelligence, and everything, his whole existence is being absorbed, deeply absorbed in Krishna, engrossed in Krishna, then he is actually not useful for any material activities. He is social in social sense. From a social point of view, he is actually bekar. He is actually useless fellow. Because he cannot do anything now. His mind is fully absorbed in Krishna. So materially speaking, he's not good for anything. Just like they say, good for nothing. He's not good for anything. Therefore, it is, in another word, it is actually, in other word, it is death. He is socially dead because he is no more useful to the material world. Therefore, Pulshikar Maharaj says, let me die now. Let me become so much absorbed in your lotus feet that let my relatives, my family members, the whole world considers me, I am dead to them. It is actually good. If such stage comes in somebody's life, is very fortunate. That everyone considers you as dead to them. You are already dead to them. Very fortunate stage. But how many under the sky now is actually able to understand this point? That it is actually a point of great fortune. It is the most cherished moment to a devotee who doesn't know anything other than Krishna. Let the whole world call him as his dead body or he has become pagal. That's like Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahasaya in his bhajan, he is saying that. Kabe Gauravane Shurodhoni Tate Haradhe ha Krishna bole Kadia berabo deho sukho chari Nanalota torutale Nanalota torutale. When will that day come in my life? That Shurodhani Tate, on the bank of Shurodhani Ganga. Kabe? When? Gauravana. This Navadvip land, in the land of Navadvip. Haradhe ha Krishna bole. Kadiya berabo. I'll run frantically from here and there. It's just shouting or loudly roaring, Hey Radhe, Hey Krishna. By saying this, while saying this, I'll look for Shri Radha and Krishna here and there. Nana Lata Torutale. I'll be wandering throughout the whole Navadvip land, under different trees and I'll go from one bank to another bank of the Ganga, and my only job, my only business will cry for Krishna, will be crying for Krishna. So this crying for Krishna, shedding tears of love for Krishna is the real success of the human birth. If one can remember Krishna at the time of death, that can be only possible when a devotee is, throughout his life, he has practiced how to love for Krishna. If you can't love for Krishna now, then will you be able to cry for Krishna? If you can't cry now, can you cry later on? No. So that is the most cherished, desired moment of a devotee's life, that he'll be only crying for Krishna. Ha Radhe ha Krishna boli kadiya verai bo deho sukho chari nana lota torutale. I'll forget about all my bodily pleasures and pain. I'll only think about Krishna. I'll be absorbed in Ha Radhe ha Krishna, singing Ha Radhe ha Krishna. Nana lota torutale. So, when we prepare our mind like this, only thinking of Krishna, Krishna, it is actually very, very unfortunate situation in this material world, and that we have created so many unnecessary business to do. Actually, the living entity, the jiva, has no other job to do than serving Krishna. He has no other job to do. Always Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Bandhanam. This is their only job. The only job profile which should be available in the material world is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Bandhanam. No other job should be available in this material. No other job. But it is now, we can see that so many other things we have manufactured and unnecessarily made our life very, very, very complex. So throughout the life, the devotee does only one job. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Bandhanam, Padashevanam. This Navida Bhakti. And by doing this, he becomes completely useless for the material world. Therefore, people call him as Pagal. We call somebody as Pagal when they do not go according to the social structure, according to the values, the social values, then we call him as crazy. He's a mad. But actually, who is mad? And on what basis you are calling him mad? When you call somebody as mad, your vision is very limited. You have seen only one earthly planet, and not also the full earthly planet. You have seen only one portion of it. That we have to study a lot, we have to get good degrees, we have to get a highly paid salary, high salaried job, and then you can, with suit, boot, tie, pant, then you are very sophisticated person, then you are actually not Pagal. But when you consider in terms of the whole creation of Krishna, and especially the real world, which is spiritual world, then these sophisticated animals are actually Pagal. Devotees are not Pagal. Those who are crying for Krishna, they are not Pagal. We the people are Pagal. We are the crazy fellow here. Because we have been valuing the valueless things since our birth. I don't know how many of you are able to understand what I'm trying to say. Just like now we are sitting and discussing about Krishna. Actually, this is the only job one should do. giving up everything, leaving everything behind. Only Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Bandhanam. There should be no other job to do. No other business. Only one business. Shravanam, Kirtanam. Sripad Shankaracharya also told in his Gita Mahatma. Eko devasya seva. So tasya eko karma. There's only one karma. Serving the Supreme Lord. Anyway, to survive ourselves in this material world, we are doing some other works. But we should understand that being engaged in those business is not actually human life. Human life is only meant for loving Krishna, only crying for Krishna, only remembering Krishna. So therefore, when Shamrat Kulashikar is praying that let me be completely absorbed in your thoughts, so much so that the whole material world considers me as dead. So I want to die now. Krishna, tadiyo padapankaja panjarantam, adaiva vibhishatu manasa. Because if I have to die, if I have to wait for my death, so-called death, actually, I mean the death which uh, in operational sense we call it as death, when we have to give up our body, then I don't know what will happen to me. If I don't absorb myself now unto your lotus feet, I will not be able to think of you, Krishna, at the time of death. So will you please help me to die now? Devotee is praying to Krishna. Please help me so that I can die now. This is the mentality, the proper mindset of a devotee. The metaphor is used because the swan, a bird of the water, takes pleasure in digging into the lotus flowers. Its sporting proclivity is to enter the lotus flower. So what is the devotee's proclivity? To enter into Krishna's divine pastime. Please read.
Maharaj Kulashekar says to the Lord, now my mind is undisturbed and I am quite healthy. If I die immediately thinking of your lotus feet, then I am sure that my performance of your devotional service will become perfect. If I have to wait for my natural death, then I do not know what will happen because at that time the bodily functions will be disrupted. My throat will be choked up, and I do not know whether I shall be able to chant your name. Better let me die immediately. Arjuna questions how a person can fix his mind on Krishna's lotus feet at such a time. Hare Krishna Pranam.
So is it relatable in our life? The thoughts of Maharaj Kulshekar. How many of you experienced physical difficulties, challenges, disease? Literally every one of us, we have faced those challenges. Facing physical challenges is not surprising. What is more surprising is, despite facing those challenges, we still do not learn from those challenges. That is more surprising. No? Whenever there is any difficulties in life, there is a Shashan Vairagya. There is a transitory Vairagya comes in our life. Okay, from today onwards, I'll be focusing on Krishna consciousness. But the next moment, I forget that. I again become absorbed in nonsensical activities. So, do you think that we are wise? Can a wise man do that? Getting lashed by the Maya or the material nature, and the next moment again says that thank you, I'm happy, I'm very happy in this material world. So That's what that we are all going through these challenges, physical, mental challenges, psychological challenges. But still we think that I'll be able to sort this out and find some good solution of it. And our our entire life is actually falling into the problems and struggling to finding those solutions. This is all the life is about. Only facing challenges and finding some solutions. But no matter how much we try, we'll again be put into that situation. And people, they don't understand that. They don't even think of the problems of life. They think that problems are part of our life. But Srila Prabhupada has taught us why the problems will be the part of your life. You are the son of the happiest personality is Krishna. You are the son of him. He is the wealthiest personality. Why you have to be worry about your survival? You are the son and daughters of that supreme personality who is always blissful. Then why you have to struggle to get happiness in life? You are the son and daughter of the physically fittest person who is Krishna. But why then you have to go to hospital and clinics and diagnostic centers, run here and there to take care of your body? As long as we do not understand this point that we do not belong to this material world, we belong to Krishna, then this kind of suffering is inevitable for us. We deserve this suffering. We deserve these sufferings because through our consciousness, we're still absorbed in Krishna, we're still absorbed in Maya. So the moment a devotee he discovers, he is able to realize that I do not belong to this material world, I only belong to Krishna. Immediately he is transferred or he is situated in the transcendental consciousness, which is all blissful. Of course, there will be some remnants of sufferings which you have to go through in this life, but the devotee is not perturbed at all by those sufferings because he has situated himself in that stage. And that is not any hypnotism. There's not a process of hypnotizing somebody by just saying that, okay, you just think, you just contemplate that you're not this body. I'm not this body, but I'm what? I'm Krishna's part and parcel. I belong to Krishna. So if I belong to Krishna, then my life should also be like Krishna's life. Krishna is ever joyful. I should be also ever joyful. But still I'm suffering. So therefore the devotee, while remembering Krishna, he gradually shifts his attachment from the material world to Krishna. And this material world is full of dangers. Padam padam yad vipadam. So at every step when there is danger, at the time of danger, what do? We try to catch hold of something to get out of that dangerous situation. So during your lifetime, who is your shelter point? We must ask these questions to us. Who is my shelter point? Where do I resort at the time of my difficulties in life? Where do I resort? Is it Krishna or is it some another material adjustment? That's what usually we do. When from our family members, someone behaves rude, then we take shelter of the other person. And then that person also behaves harshly and we move towards some other person for shelter. When the family members are not giving us that solace, then we try to get that shelter from outside, someone else, something else. So this, among these people and objects, the people and the material things, items, we are going through and trying to find out the real shelter, and always ignoring the shelter of Krishna. One danger comes, we try to immediately solve it by finding some solution. Okay, solved. Next moment, another danger. Okay, for that, another kind of solution you find. So every single danger, if we compare it with some unique lock, you need a key for every unique lock. So one danger is one lock, so there is one particular key for that lock. Then another danger is another lock, you find another key for that lock. So in that way, you are simply finding different keys. So there are 100 doors. There are 100 doors, and you're out of those 100 doors, you also have the key for, say, for example, you have for the 92 doors, you have keys. So you have ran through all those 92 doors to open those locks, those doors. But what about the rest 8 doors? You do not have the key. So those doors will be always closed for you because you do not have keys for those doors. Similarly, there are n number of dangers in life, and every single danger we try to find one key. But Krishna is the master key. Krishna consciousness is the master key. If you have one key, then very easily, without facing any trouble, you can open any doors. Any random door you go and you can open it. Because you found the master key, Krishna. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada used to say material problems, spiritual solution. Problems are in plural, but solution is singular. So no material problems can be solved by keeping ourselves on the material platform. One cannot solve a problem when he himself, his consciousness is entangled in that same platform. You have to think from above. Right? There are problems. So 10 people are discussing about the problems, problem. So everyone is thinking about the problem only. Someone has to come out of that problem consciousness and think about the solution. Okay, this is the problem, acknowledged. But what can be the solution? The person who is too much entangled with the problem, he cannot think of the solution. Therefore, he needs somebody else who can see from outside, or who can see from above. That is the absolute necessity of taking surrender of a pure devotee, who is bona fide representative of Krishna. Therefore, we go and take shelter of Guru. Let me hear from him. What does he say? What has he got to tell me? How can I become free from this danger of this material world? So the quicker you do it, the sooner you do it, the safer you are. Taking shelter of Krishna, the sooner you do it. There might be other keys available, okay, but those key may also sometime not work. So better you keep one master key which will open every door at a time. That is Krishna. So remaining in Krishna consciousness is the best solution. Therefore, Kulshikar Maharaj is saying, I have some problem in life, so someone will come and help me. I have another problem, somebody else will come and help me. But what will happen at the time of final exam? Who can help you at the time of final exam? Which is going to be the toughest one? Nobody. Because that's a battle, that's an exam, or we can compare it as a battle where you have to struggle alone. In these problems with the material world, there are some, you have your balance in the bank, you have some couple of insurances, you have some relatives to give a hand for help. You find someone to speak to them about your distress in life and you feel relieved. But what are you going to do at the time of death? Who will help you? Your bank account, your health insurance, your relatives, your children, your parents. Who is going to help you at the time of death? The most difficult battle you have to fight alone. You have to fight it alone. Therefore, the Buddhiman, the intelligent person, will take shelter of Krishna right now. Atoye mayamoho chari buddhiman nitya tattva Krishna bhakti korun anusandhan. There is danger at every step. So we have to look at what is our shelter point, as I was saying before. That look at your shelter points. Unto whom you are clinging into now. You are trying to catch hold of what? That is going to determine at the time of death what you will be taking shelter of. So have you practiced that? Are we practicing that, taking shelter of Krishna in every single danger in our life? If not, then it will be quite impossible to remember Krishna at the time of death. Because that is the most difficult situation. In every difficult situation, in each difficult situation, you have found different solutions, but you are not taking shelter of Krishna. So at the time of death, same thing will happen. Because we are habituated, we are accustomed to take shelter of something else other than Krishna in different problems. For example, someone who is addicted to liquor, smoking. As soon as there is depression in life, they'll smoke. They'll go to the friends and drink liquor. Right? Someone who is attached to cricket, any problems come in his life, he will watch cricket and there'll be some adrenaline hormone will be released and then he's happy. Oh, now I have watched cricket and my favorite team has won the match. So he thinks that, okay, now I'm happy. So whenever you are in difficult situation of life, what kind of shelter you are accustomed to take on? That same thing would happen at the time of death. Just like the Srila Prabhupada has given this example, also this analogy in this section. That a scorpion is always thinking of the butterfly. And then it also, by thinking, one time he also becomes the butterfly. So taking shelter of Krishna is not any option. It's a mandate. It's a mandate. In every difficult situation of your life, you should practice to take shelter of Krishna. Then you're accustomed. Then at the time of death, you'll be remembering Krishna. Now, somebody may say, okay, if I remember my family members, my friends and relatives, then what will happen? What is the problem? The problem will be you will be eternally entangled. Again and again you have to come back. So that is mentioned in the next verse. Yam yam bhapisman bhavam. We'll come to that. Okay, first let's read that. Okay, we have been reading only the text number 2 actually. the importance of the significance of Prayana-kale. So we have to practice that. We have to learn that technique, how to remember Krishna now. See this verse, Antakale cha mameva smaranamukta kalevaram ya prayati samadabhavam yati nastyatra shamshaya. Antakale cha mam eva smaran, mam eva. Think only about me. Mam eva, only about me. Smaranamukta kalevaram. So Krishna has done a little trick here. Instead of saying Kirtan Mukta, he said Smarana Mukta. Instead of saying Shravana Mukta, he said Smarana Mukta. So, dear devotees, please try to understand this point. It's a single journey. It's an individual journey where you will be completely, all of us will be completely helpless. As I was saying, I have to fight my own battle because it is Smarana Mukta. You have to remember Krishna. You have to remember Krishna. Not that somebody comes and chants, Krishna, Krishna, Prabhu, you please give up your body. That is a cheating. Okay, when at the time of death, the devotees comes, they surrounding us, they hold kirtan and that is very nice. They are doing their job, but it is not my job. Hire some people for my deathbed. Prabhu, I'm paying you $100 every month. Please, at the time of my death, you please come. So it's a like a pre-salaried job. I'm sending you the salary now, but you have to do the job at the time of my death. Now, that is not going to help us. So be very careful about this point. Smarana Mukta Kalevaram. Smarana Mukta. You have to remember. You have to remembering me alone. Mameva, only remembering Krishna at the time of death. So remembering of Krishna, what does it mean? What is remembrance of Krishna? It is not remembering some facts and figures. Okay, when was the Crimean War happened, and what was the duration of the Industrial Revolution? When was the Battle of Plassey took place? All these things. What is the capital of Rwanda? What is the currency of Argentina? These are not the facts and figures you have to remember. This is general remembrance. That kind of remembrance won't help us. This is what we normally know as remembering some figures. But that from that factual, that figure, that remembering of figures and facts is not Krishna Smaran. Krishna Smaran is much more personal involvement. Whether you have given your emotional investment there. You got the point? There is a subtle difference between these two things. You may remember so many things, just like some figures are there, and you can remember, you can recall those figures or those some memories, some incident happened in your life. You can remember that now. But when you are in danger, do you remember those things? You know so many things. For example, the doctors and engineers they know so many things. But when that same doctors and engineers are facing some very like fatal problems in life, almost like every door is closed during those problems. Then do you remember your medical terminologies and your engineering terminology? Do you remember that? Does that help you? No. You may have so much knowledge, but at the time of your real need, those things cannot help you. So similarly, we may know so many things about the material world, but at the time of death or at the time of real test, those facts and figures is not going to help us. Rather, during those moments, we try to take shelter of our dear ones. Please help me in that situation. We don't remember how much knowledge you have. Nobody cares for that. Just like we have given the example, Srila Prabhupada actually given the example that a scholar who had so much knowledge in physics and astronomy and all this, crossing the river, and then all of a sudden the boatman asked, do you know how to swim? Before that, he was boasting about his knowledge. I know this, I know that. And he was like insulting the boatman, say, yeah, your 75% of your life is is useless. And boatman said, your 100% life is useless because you don't know how to swim. Because when the boat will be uh, turned, then you have to know how to swim. Your astronomical knowledge cannot help you. So similarly, we may know so many things, we may remember so many things. But when at the time of real test, you have to know how to swim to cross over this material ocean. And who is going to help you? Krishna. So if you are not emotionally attached to Krishna, how can you remember? So therefore, what I was saying, this remembrance, when Krishna said, Anta kale cha mame basman mukta kalevaram, it's not that I remember just Krishna, Krishna, and I. Someone can put a gun on my head and say, please, Prabhu, I cannot do that. Or you can give me some gun and say, Krishna, Krishna. That is not going to help you. I'll remember Krishna and then no, you cannot remember. Just by chanting the name of Krishna will not help. Krishna is not so fool. You cannot fool Krishna like that. Krishna said, you have to remembrance means, you have to remember me means you should be emotionally attached to me. Emotional attachment is there. Not that Krishna, Krishna, put, and then you go. No. No, that is not possible. So no artificial arrangement will not help us. Prabhu, Mataji, please, at the time of my death, you please come and chant. Okay, they will chant, but whether you will be remembering Krishna or not, who knows that? If someone comes at the time of my death, they are chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But in my heart, in my mind, I'm thinking, my father, my mother, my wife, my children, then what will happen? They are chanting Hare Krishna, but I'm remembering about my family. So will that chanting help you? So we need emotional involvement in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, I was saying that throughout the life, because this is one verse which can be mispresented by people, those who are very like nuts, they will say that, okay, then I'll do this, like Ajamil. Throughout my life, I'll enjoy. And then at the time of, please chant Hare Krishna and I'll die now. No. Krishna is not so foolish that you can cheat him like that. That remembrance is involvement, internal involvement, not just external activities. We may do n number of services throughout the day, from morning till evening, going to temple, doing this, doing that, always busy. But are we really attached to Krishna? What is the inspiration of doing those services? Is that name, fame, and false prestige? Recognition and acknowledgement by your temple authorities? Or are you doing this for Krishna's pleasure? While we are sweeping the temple, are you remember, oh Krishna, this is your temple. I'm so fortunate that I'm getting the opportunity to clean your place, to clean the temple. While you are cleaning the vessels in the kitchen. Oh Krishna, you take bhoga in this place. I'm so fortunate. Do you think that? Or you are just thinking, okay, if I can clean nicely, then my temple president will give me some good recognition. Are you thinking like that? Then at the time of death, your service will not help you. Because you have done this for some other recognition, but not for Krishna's devotion. There is no devotion, there is only recognition. These are for recognition. So that is not going to help us at the time of death. Anta-kale cha mame basman mukta kalevaram. It means that you have to lovingly remember me. So therefore, throughout my life, whenever there was danger, what was the shelter point for me? Whom I was always clinging into? Was that Krishna's lotus feet or something else? So it is not some normal remembrance of some facts and figures. You may be very good at general knowledge. Your GK might be absolutely amazing, but your GK is not going to help you at the time of death. I know Srimad Bhagavatam, how many chapters are there? How many shlokas are there in Ramayana? I know that. And I can remember 45 shlokas in Bhakti Sastri units. That is not going to help us. You have to lovingly remember Krishna, not just skimming through various shlokas and chapters. Where is your attachment? Where is your attachment? That is going to be considered at the time of death. So Krishna says, Mameva smarana mukta, Mameva, only me, think only me, remembering me alone at once. They will attain my nature. So we have to invest our present time, our present, we have to invest in doing something which is worthwhile. You know what is worthwhile? You all know that, worthwhile. If it is not worthwhile at the time of death, then investing your present energy is not going to. I'm doing something. I'm doing something. It's not something is not going to. Sometimes we say that, Prabhu, are you busy? Mataji, can you give some time? No, I'm busy. Actually, I'm doing something. What is that something? Is that something worthwhile at the time of death? No, I'm doing something, not doing something. So every single moment a devotee should mold his life in a way that it is millimeter by millimeter, at least millimeter by millimeter, increasing him, taking him towards Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. Therefore, it matters so much that what we are doing in the present. So we have to learn that. We have to learn that. See, a bird, when the bird is small, I mean the baby bird, can the baby bird fly? The newly born bird? No. And gradually the parents, the mother bird, teaches her kids to how to fly. So the bird always takes shelter on externally. Apparently, the bird is sitting on the branches of the tree. You know, the birds are sitting on the branches of the tree. But you see one thing, anytime the branch may break, right? Anytime the branch may get broken. So what does the bird do? When the branch is broken, the bird also like fall off with that branch. Any bird, have you ever seen or heard that the bird has fallen from the tree and died? Just like we fall from 10-story building and we die. But you'll never hear any such news that bird has fallen from that branch of the tree and died. We'll never hear such news. Why? But the bird is always sitting on the branches of the tree. Why? Because the baby birds, gradually he grows his wings to fly anytime. He's taking shelter of the branch, but he knows one day this branch will break and I have to fly. So while sitting on the branch, they develop their wings because they know there is a need to grow. So we are in the material world. We are doing material activities, but don't take shelter of this material world. This material world is not going to give you the final shelter. One day the branch of this material world will also be broken. It will also break down. If you don't know how to grow your wings to fly, then this branch one day will also fall. So you may deal with the material world, but don't dwell here. Dwell in the spiritual world. Do not depend too much on the material world. Depending too much on the material world will simply frustrate you one day, because one day it will also be broken. It will break down. So we are just like the birds on a branch. Our wings need to grow before the branch breaks. Otherwise, we'll be finished. So what we think of at our death is very important. What we think of at our death, is more important that what others think about us after the death. When we die, we may think that, okay, if I am not there, then how my family members will sustain, how will they survive without me? They need me. So I'm thinking about them, what they'll think about me after my death. But we should think about what will happen to me at the time of my death. So we have to, therefore I was saying that we must invest doing something worthwhile during our lifetime. Otherwise it is all useless. If we remember like that, then ya prayati, in this way, one who lives his body, ya prayati, samadbhavam, he attains my nature. My nature means, Srila Vishnu Chakrabarti Pad says, my nature, his nature is Krishna's planet, spiritual world. My nature, yati nasti atra shamshaya. There is no shamshaya, there is no doubt in that he'll come back to me. He'll definitely come back to me. Please read.
In this verse, the importance of Krishna consciousness is stressed. Anyone who quits his body in Krishna consciousness is at once transferred to the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is the purest of the pure. Therefore, anyone who is constantly Krishna conscious is also the purest of the pure. The word smaran, remembering, is important. Remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul who has not practiced Krishna consciousness in devotional service. Therefore, one should practice Krishna consciousness from the very beginning of life. If one wants to achieve success at the end of his life, the process of remembering Krishna is essential.
Very essential to get to get the achievement, proper achievement, the real achievement of life. So remember Krishna at the time of death. Srila Haridas Thakur, throughout his life, he never asked anything from Lord. Never. But at the time of just before his passing away, he prayed to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. নয়নে দেখিমু তোমার ও ছন্দ বদন, হৃদয়ে ধরিমু তোমার কমল চরণ, জিহ্বায় উচ্চারিমু কৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য নাম, এই মতো ইচ্ছা মোর ছাড়িমু পরাণ. My dear Lord, please allow me to see your lotus face, your moon-like face. Please allow me to hold your lotus feet on my chest, and please allow me to behold your beautiful face, chant your beautiful Krishna Chaitanya Nam. And in this way, I wish to leave my body. So he understood what was the real success of life. Therefore, he took part in a Yavana family and never went to Jagannath temple, inside the Jagannath temple. But all those things were not, he was tortured by the Kaji in 22 marketplaces. He never considered those things as the pain of his life. A real pain is that if he could not pass away in presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, he confirmed to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please give me these blessings. And because he never asked anything from Krishna, never asked anything from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu was actually obliged. He felt obliged to give him, because such a person, he would never asked anything from me. So you want to ask anything from Krishna, then learn from Haridas Thakur. Not to asking anything, only just at the time of death, Krishna, please allow me to remember you. And for that, we have to practice this. Anyone who is constantly in Krishna conscious, he is Krishna conscious, is also the purest of the pure. The word smarana is important. Remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul. So by constantly remembering Krishna now, we can remember Krishna at the time of death. Now. So tomorrow I'll become Krishna conscious. Day after tomorrow I'll become Krishna conscious. So don't rely too much on your future. The best gift what we all got in our life, you know what is that? The present. The present is the best present. The present is the best present for all of us. That is the best present for us, the present. So utilize the present. Remember Krishna. So always try to remember Krishna, doing something which will always keep me emotionally attached to Krishna. Not only just remembering. Oh, of course, we first start with like mechanical remembrance, but finally, eventually, you have to come to the point of emotional involvement. And every time, therefore, we have to pray to Krishna. You have to pray to the Vaishnavas. Please, please, Krishna, please, dear devotees, please bless me, please give me your grace. Because ultimately, actually, it is not by your sadhana you are going to remember Krishna. It is not by your effort that you can remember Krishna, but it's by Krishna's grace, it's by the grace of the pure sadhus that you can remember Krishna. So without their grace, it is not possible. So what we are doing in our spiritual life should be meant for pleasing Krishna. I'm trying to do some service, but if the ultimate goal is not to please Krishna, then we don't get his grace. Krishna may acknowledge, okay, you are doing something for me, but if you want to get the grace, the blessings from me, then you have to please me. So every single moment, every single time we are doing some services to Krishna, then with sincere and serious, humble attitude, seeking Krishna's, begging Krishna's blessings. Krishna, please, 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 please help me. There are we can see there's insurmountable amount of ways that the Maya can trick us from this material world. And Maya is extremely, like significantly powerful, and we are insignificant. We are insignificantly helpless. We are extremely insignificant. Maya is extremely significant in cheating us. So we are very helpless. Therefore, every single moment now, we have to take shelter of Krishna. Remember Krishna, always, in all services. So how to do that? Because whenever you want to remember Krishna, then there will be, simultaneously, there will be so many lucrative offers by Maya, or you can say distractions. These are not actual offers, they're distractions by Maya. So devotee should be mature. He should be mature. He should know that this material world is not for my enjoyment. If I waste my future by engaging myself in material activities now, then I'm going to lose my future also. I'm going to be the loser in present, I'm going to be the loser in the future. So what we'll get by this material achievement, what we'll get? Ultimately, what I'm going to get? Nothing. Zero, 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 and only zero. Because I have to leave everything behind, and I don't know what is my destination next. So why to calculate so many things? Why are we calculating who has given me some pain, who has appreciated me, and who allowed me to lord over, who did not allow me to lord over? What is the value of all those plans and programs? What for we are doing all these things? Life should be utilized in such a way that we mold the life, we shape the life so that we can direct our entire consciousness toward Krishna. One-pointed attention. That is called maturity. Even though there are so many allurements and sometimes punishments also, allurements and punishments, both by the Maya, the material nature, but I want to get Krishna. Bas. Be it a like very happy moment or distressful moment, but I want to get Krishna. So first fix your plan. What is your plan? You want to enjoy the material world. You want to lord it over, or you want to get Krishna's blessings. You want to go back to Krishna. You want to stay here perpetually, rot here, or you want to go back to Krishna. This planning is needed. That is called mature planning. And once you made that mature planning, then there will be again, material nature is not going to spare you. It will try to take us away from Krishna consciousness. It will not allow us to remember Krishna. It will not allow us to take shelter of Krishna. But we have to have strong determination. Even though there are calamities, but there will be ups and downs, so many upheavals in life, sometimes glorification, sometimes insults by others. Whatever happens, I shall march forward towards my destination. At the means death. Death is my destination. Ultimately, after death, I'm going to get to Krishna. So after mature planning, you have to have proper action. Take resolute action. And once you have that resolute mindset, then you are on a right track. But you know one thing, there's also another problem. Even if you are on the right track, just like when you're driving the car is on the street, you know the destination. You know the destination means you are good planning. Then you are also holding the steering wheel, means you're resolute. But the problem is distractions. In both sides, there are so many distractions. So there might be lots of distractions, agitations, and alluring things like position, posts, adoration, name, fame, so many things, sometimes physical weakness, mental wickedness, physical weakness and mental wickedness. So many things will be going to distract us. So even though we have planning, even though we have the resolute determination, but still we may get distracted. Just like that, at rabbit, Srila Bhakti Sastri Prabhupada gave that example, that rabbit and the tortoise was in a race. And finally, who won? The tortoise. The rabbit could not, because the rabbit thought that let me take some rest. I have done enough in my Hari Bhajan. So you may also think like that. I have done so much. I have crossed so many. So I always say one thing, in devotional life, never look back. Never see that how much kilometer you have crossed or covered. You should always see forward, front. How many kilometers I have to cover? How many kilometers I have covered? No. How much? How many to be covered? Always focusing on front. How much progress I need to make in Krishna consciousness. How much more I have to become Krishna conscious in my devotional life. So that sometime so-called advancement means self-complacency, sometimes agitations, but still the devotee has to be focused. No, at the time of death, I have to remember Krishna. So be focused, be focused. You'll see that in the football match. Of course, we are not saying that you watch football match, but everybody knows what is football match. What do? They have only one goal post, only one ball. Then the whole 90 minutes, their only goal is to score a goal. Score a goal. One goal, score a goal. So there might be distractions, but be focused. They're dying. They're literally dying to score a goal. So at the time of death, somehow or other, I don't want to miss this opportunity. I got one human form of life. At the time of my death, I want to remember Krishna. And what is that time of death? Who knows that? Nobody knows what is the time of death. That means I have to remember Krishna now. I have to become purely Krishna conscious now. If you keep that one thought in your mind, then any other do's and don'ts will fall in places. What is to be done, what is not to be done, whom to associate, whom not to associate, whom to avoid, whom not to avoid. Everything will be in places, fall into places. If you keep this in mind that I have to remember Krishna every moment. Who is helping me to remember Krishna now? Is that your Facebook post? Is that your friends? Is that your society? Is that your parents? Are those the devotees? Who is helping? What situation is helping? What environment is helping? But I have to remember Krishna. Is this food, is this item which is in front of me helping me to remember Krishna? Accept it. In that way, you can easily make your life very pakka. Please read.
Hare Krishna. Therefore, one should constantly, incessantly chant the Mahamantra Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya has advised that one be as tolerant as Sri Trinadapishanichana. There may be so many impediments for a person who is chanting Hare Krishna. Nonetheless, tolerating all these impediments, one should continue to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay.
So that at the end of one's life, one can have the full benefit of Krishna consciousness.
So Prabhupada said, therefore, which is actually a kind of conclusive statement. Therefore, one should constantly, incessantly chant the Mahamantra. So this is the best way to always remember Krishna and gradually be like to fall for Krishna, to get attached to Krishna. Always chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this is one of the very rarest verses where Srila Prabhupada mentioned Hare Krishna Mahamantra twice in full. Sometimes he say Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but here Prabhupada stated the whole Mahamantra completely. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we have to always practice that. And then immediately Srila Prabhupada referred to the third verse of Shikshashtaka. Why? Because, please, this is a very beautiful point actually. If you try to remember Krishna all the time, the most difficult challenges will come from your family. Period. It is not going to come from other places. It is going to come from your family members. If there are devotee families here, even for them also it is applicable. If a husband is too much attached to Krishna, then wife will object. The wife is too much attached to Krishna, then husband will object. Why you are so much attached? No, I am also there. Of course, it does not mean that devotees will become irresponsible. They take such. But if you want to, as soon as you think that, okay, no, I have to think about my death, then the other person or the other family member, they, hey, why are you always thinking about death? There are so many other things to do in life. Why always think? No, the whole life should be thought about death. Just like the whole year, throughout the year, what does the student do? What do the students do? They always think of exam. So throughout the life, the devotee should always think about death. Death means Krishna. How can I prepare myself for the final exam death? So whenever you want to do that, then there will be problems, challenges, objection from family members or sometimes relatives, sometimes your colleagues, sometimes even the devotee community. Prabhu, you are too much. So why always you chant Hare Krishna? Let us do something else. Let us go for watching movie and attending some party program. No. This is you are too serious. See this. I have seen this many times in the devotee community. The word serious is seriously allergic to them. The very word serious, they are seriously allergic to the word serious. As soon as the word serious comes, their mind will be off, switched off in that. Always, why serious? Why so serious? There's no need of being serious. Just remember Krishna. Just do this, that. So, but the devotee means serious devotee. That's it. Devotee means serious devotee. Devotee cannot be insincere devotee. Devotee cannot be casual devotee. He is not a devotee. Devotee means serious. So serious that even Bilamangal Thakur, he even pierced both of his eyes because the eyes were distracting him from fixing his mind on Krishna. Therefore, he forgot everything and he just thought that, okay, let me pierce my eyes. 1 minute. So his thoughts are always in Krishna. Therefore, he's serious. If somebody says, no, I think I must go back to Krishna in this lifetime. The other person, are you serious? Are you serious? Yes. Yes, I'm serious. I have to go back to Krishna in this lifetime. No, you can't be so serious. What else? What else you are expecting from a devotee? Devotee means he has to go back to Krishna in this lifetime. He can't say that, okay, you cannot be so serious. Devotee means serious. He must be serious. But we don't like to hear this word seriousness. So when you become serious, then there will be challenges in life. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said, tolerate. As soon as you fix your mind that I have to go back to Krishna in this lifetime, then there will be so many challenges, so many distractions will immediately appear. Just like if somebody asks me that you will be chanting the next 2 rounds of japa, not thinking anything else, with this condition. You take bead bag in your hand, japamala, and then you try to chant. Because the devotee said, don't think anything else. Guru said, don't think anything else, only focus on Krishna's name. I can tell you that those 2 rounds will be the most difficult rounds in your entire life. If you think that I can't think anything else, and that is ordered to me, it's very difficult because so many distractions then will appear. So similarly, a devotee, when he tries to become serious in his spiritual life, because 99.9% people are not serious. 99.9% atmosphere is not serious. Only you are going against the current. So there will be distractions, there will be challenges, there will be obstacles, there will be impediments, because nobody wants to become serious. Because to be serious in a spiritual life means you have to pay a high price. And whenever you want to pay a high price, then those people who are not paying high price, they will say, we are also practicing Krishna consciousness. We are not paying that much price. Why are you becoming so serious? So they cannot tolerate this. They cannot tolerate this. Then you'll have problem. Therefore, Prabhupada said, tolerate. Trinadapi Sunichana, practice it. Because there will be challenges. It cannot help you. The surroundings are not there to facilitate our Krishna consciousness. Rather, it is there to facilitate how can I forget Krishna. So you have to always remember Krishna with tolerance. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajati ante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kunteya sadatad bhava bhavitaha. Yam yam vapi. Now, this is the principle. The previous verse, Krishna spoke about the importance of remembering him at the time of death. Now he's saying that the general law of remembrance at the time of death. Yam yam bhapi smarana bhapam. The thing which you are remembering now, that same state of consciousness will be there at the time of your death. So you have, do you understand the point of remembrance, which I very elaborately explained? That remembrance is not only thinking, it's not shallow level, superficial level thinking, or just recalling some memories. No, it's emotional involvement is there with Krishna. So similarly, this principle applies that when at the time of death, yam yam vapi smarana bhavam, what kind of remembrance, where are we emotionally attached at the time of death? When he pass away, when he leave this body, the next body will be accepted accordingly, will be given accordingly to us. That is Mother Nature's special arrangement. What kind of body you want, what kind of body you will get, whatever you deserve, whatever you have remembered at the time of death. So our disposition at the time of death determines our destination after the death. What is our disposition at the time of death? So throughout the life, we must be habituated, accustomed to always remember Krishna. Otherwise, at the time of death, we'll be suffering. Please read.
The process of changing one's nature at the critical moment of death is here explained. A person, sorry, is Rupa Chintamani Prabhu?
No, I read, Prabhu.
Okay, sorry, Prabhu. The process of changing one's nature at the critical moment of death is here explained. A person who, at the end of his life, quits his body thinking of Krishna attains the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. But it is not true that a person who thinks of something other than Krishna attains this same transcendental state. This is a point we should note very carefully. How can one die in the proper state of mind? Maharaj Bharata, although a great personality, thought of a deer at the end of his life, and so in the next life he was transferred into the body of a deer. Although as the deer he remembered his past activities, he had to accept another animal body.
So this is the general principle. The process of changing one's nature at the critical moment of death is explained. So at the end of our life, when we are leaving this body, we think of Krishna, we get Krishnized body, transcendental body, because Krishna is supremely transcendental. But if we do not think of Krishna, if we do not remember Krishna in love and think something else, then we will not get that same destination. So Prabhupada writes that at this point we should note very carefully how one can die in the proper state of mind. I have already discussed what is the significance of proper state of mind in the previous verse. No? The meaning of proper state. What is the proper state of mind? What is the proper state of mind at the time of death? What is the proper state of mind? I discussed in the previous sloka. Proper mindset, proper mind. Remember, proper state of mind.
Remembering Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, but no, just not the some generic answer. I want the explanation. What is the proper?
Remain unattached.
Yes, remaining unattached. The proper state of mind at the time of death, we have to leave everything behind. That means the mind, if it is attached to something else, then it will remember, it will only think of that. So when we know that at a certain point of time, I have to leave something behind, then why should I get attached to that? Is that proper state of mind? No, that's improper state of mind. So Prabhupada writes that the proper state of mind, how one can die in the proper state of mind, the proper state of mind is detached from the material world, attached to Krishna. Because he knows the reason that I cannot take anything with me at the time of death. The only thing which will be worthwhile, that particular word worthwhile, what we discussed in the previous verse, worthwhile, investing our time in doing something worthwhile. Am I doing something worthwhile or just doing some service? Not some service, some worthwhile thing, or the proper attitude behind the service. So Maharaj Bharat, when he was attached to the deer, what was he doing? He gave up the whole world. He was the emperor of the whole universe. I mean, the whole earthly planet. He gave up. But see how much unfortunate the situation was for him. He gave up everything, but he could not give up the attachment to a small deer. A baby deer, he was fostering him, that baby deer. And what was he supposed to do? It was not bad to protect the baby deer, because a devotee by nature is compassionate. So out of compassion, Bharat did that. Bharat did that. But the problem was not protecting the deer. The problem was after that, what he continued was the problem. His responsibility was just to protect the deer, baby deer, and when it is little grown up, okay, take him to the forest and leave him free. But he did not do that. He continued. He just hang on his attachment for the rest of his life. And by that, what happened? He forgot his own sadhana. He forgot about, he has to do the morning worship. He forgot everything, his chanting, his puja, everything he forgot just to think about the deer. So we should not be irresponsible. Bharat Maharaja's example is so significant in our life that sometimes devotee may think, or somebody may ask, so what do you mean? Was that not Bharat Maharaja's duty to protect the deer? Yes, devotee is compassionate, but compassion should not surpass the sense of responsibility towards Krishna. So he took care of the baby deer. He could have made him set him free, but he did not do that. He just continued to remain attached to the baby deer. And then as Prabhupada writes, Maharaj Bharata, although a great personality, thought of a deer at the end of his life. And so in his next life, he was transferred into a body of a deer. He got emotionally attached to that deer. That emotional attachment is needed to Krishna, only for Krishna. He was a devotee. He was a devotee at that time also, but he got emotionally attached to deer instead of getting attached to Krishna. He was a ascetic at that time. He was continued to being an ascetic at that time. He was in the forest. He had the ascetic lifestyle, but attachment was on the deer. And because of that, yam bapi smaran bhavam. So he also at the time of death was always thinking, wait, where is the deer? Where is the deer? For 2 minutes, if he could not see the deer, hey, where is that baby deer? Where is my baby? Where is my baby? He was thinking like that. So eventually at the time of death, when it was his time to leave the body, he was thinking, where is my baby? Where is my baby? Because the whole life he was accustomed to call that baby deer as, when he gave up his kingdom and he came to the forest, from the point of protecting the deer, he became attached, so much attached that at the time of death, he was also screaming. He was also lamenting. Okay, what will happen to this baby if I now leave this body? What will happen to him? You remember the previous verse? Just a few minutes back, I was saying that what will happen to us at the time of death, we don't think that. We think what will happen after the future, after our passing away, what will happen to my family? We think that. This is number one foolishness. First class foolish will think like that. That what will happen after my departure? Are Baba, what will happen to you? You should first think that, not what will happen to your family after you leave the place. So Bharat Maharaj was thinking like that. What will happen to this deer if I pass away? He thought that I am the sole protector of this baby deer. But actually, who is the protector? Krishna is the protector. You are not the protector. So Bharat Maharaj thought that I am the protector. If I am not there, if in my absence, what will happen to this baby deer? So he was completely absorbed in the deer. Although as a deer, he remembered his past activities, he had to accept that animal body. So he got a next body. So that is the principle. Yam yam bhapisman bhavan tajatante kalam tat bhava bhavito. So in the beginning of the class, you remember I was telling, life is a test of our taste. Life is a test of our taste. And that final test will be at the time of death. What tastes we have developed throughout our life will be tested at the time of our death. What is your taste? Where is your taste? Is it in Krishna or is it in somewhere else? That will be tested at the time of death. Where is your taste? So develop taste. We have been discussing on this or emphasizing on this point for months after months, that developing taste, developing desire, developing taste, developing desire on Krishna. Because if you don't develop your taste in Krishna now, you will be completely helpless like Bharat Maharaj at the time of your death. You cannot remember Krishna. It's not so easy. Anta no, it's not. Smaranamukta is not so easy. Somebody comes and chants, Prabhu, Hare Krishna, you please now die. No. You have to be emotionally attached to Krishna. Your heart should be attached to Krishna just by hearing some words, Krishna, Krishna. Who knows, maybe Krishna was the assistant in my grocery shop. Krishna was a boy in my office, a colleague. I'm remembering him. No? Somebody says Krishna, Krishna at the time of my death. And I'm remembering my colleague in the office because his name was also Krishna. So what will happen? He'll go back to Krishna, or he'll come back in Krishna's house. Maybe as a cockroach or some lizard will get birth in that Krishna's house because you're remembering that Krishna. So it is not possible. So it is not just by some remembrance, some facts and figures. No, it's not recall. It's completely like you are engrossed, you are attached to Krishna. That attachment is real. So just by knowing Shastra, your what you call as the academic knowledge, mere academic knowledge cannot help us. Do you remember this particular sentence from one purport in the first unit? Mere academic knowledge will not help. 6.8 Jnana Vijnana Triptatma Kutastha Vijitindriya. It was mentioned there. Prabhupada wrote in the purport, mere academic knowledge will not help. So mere shastric study will not help if we are not attached, if we cannot develop our attachment to Krishna. Any service you do, your chanting, your service in the temple, you're making garlands, you're cooking for Lord, whatever service you do, you're fundraising, you're a manager, you are running a temple, you are taking care of 200 devotees, but you are not getting attached to Krishna. Your consciousness is not absorbed in Krishna. Srila Prabhupada told in the lecture in 1973, 6th January in Bombay. You are doing your duty very nicely, that's all right, but if you cannot develop your Krishna consciousness by doing your duty, then you're simply wasting your time. You're simply wasting it. If you have not developed your Krishna consciousness. So just by taking an ascetic life like Bharat Maharaj will not help us if we still remain to that deer, attached to the deer. So be careful, devotees. I should also be careful. Please read.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Pranam. Of course, one's thoughts during the course of one's life accumulate to influence one's thoughts at the moment of death. So, this life creates one's next life. If in one's present life one lives in the mode of goodness and always thinks of Krishna, it is possible for one to remember Krishna at the end of one's life. That will help one be transferred to the transcendental nature of Krishna. If one is transcendentally absorbed in Krishna's service, then his next body will be transcendental, spiritual, not material. Therefore, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is the best process for successfully changing one's state of being at the end of one's life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So one's thoughts during the course of one's life accumulate to influence one's thought at the moment of death. That's what we have been telling you. What you got, the best present in your life is the present. The present. So if you do not utilize the present, then your future will also be empty. What is future actually? What is future? Future is nothing but that proper utilization of the present. Because the future is going to be present tomorrow. The very next moment, the future is going to be present. So if I say that I'll become serious tomorrow, I'll become serious from after my initiation, I'll become serious from so and so date, I'll become serious from the 1st January of the month, 1st January of the year, or I'll become serious from Ulta Roth because the first Roth is already gone. So from next Roth, I'll become serious. So what will happen? If you do not take it seriously now, then on the day of Ulta Rath also it will become your present. No? On the Ulta Rath day it will become present, it will not be future anymore. So devotee means one's life accumulate, influence one's thought at the moment of death. So moment of death is future, and what you are doing throughout the life is present. What I am doing now will be counted, will be considered at the moment of death. So remembering Krishna at the time of death is not completely in our hand. But to the significant amount, it is on our hand. If we practice now, if we seek the blessings from the Sadhu Guru Vaishnavas and we practice seriously, diligently, honestly, submissively, and with full determination, then at the time of death, Krishna will help us. Krishna will help us. If one's present life, one lives in the mood of goodness and always thinks of Krishna, it is possible for one to remember Krishna at the end of one's life. So those devotees who say that, okay, anyway, Krishna has given the assurance, I'll remember him at the time of death. No. Don't always listen to only Krishna. Listen to Krishna through his devotees. Because devotees that do it decode so many mysteries told by Krishna. Krishna speaks in formula, devotees elaborate those formula. So if you do not hear from devotees, then this will happen. So Prabhupada writes, it is possible for one to remember Krishna at the one end of life when they're throughout their life, they lead life in goodness. That will help one to be transferred to the transcendent nature of Krishna. If one is transcendentally absorbed in Krishna's service, then his next body, you see this word, transcendentally absorbed in Krishna's service, then his next body will be transcendental, not material. Transcendentally absorbed. Absorbed, the point which I've been trying to say for the last three hours, that absorption is needed, not just doing some service. So how to absorb? There's a very practical advice given by Srila Prabhupada. While you are doing your service, always chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Always making that as a habit, good habit, always chanting Krishna's name. By that, because by chanting Krishna's name with the proper intention, Krishna, please purify me, I only seek your shelter. Then it will be easier for us because Krishna is going to help us through that. Through that, Krishna is going to help us. Yes, you have taken Krishna consciousness seriously. You have taken my bhakti path seriously. Therefore, I will also take you seriously. Simple. You take one person in your life seriously, he will also take that you in seriously in his life. If you take somebody casually, he will also take you casually. Is that difficult to understand? But again, unfortunately, in our own Krishna consciousness, we are not serious. We think that whatever little we do, Krishna will take us seriously. No, I was casual. Why should Krishna take me seriously? He'll also be casual to me. If I become serious, then he'll also take me seriously. So devotional life is a serious practice, not just putting tilak and putting devotional attire, and every weekend I go to the temple and whenever I see the devotees, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But rest of the time, I am not serious. Those who are serious devotees, they don't waste even a single moment. Why? Simple. Antakala cha mamapa. Who knows what is that final moment? I don't know my final moment. So every single moment is my final moment. So actually, it is not a punishment. It is actually a big reward for us. An amazing gift from Krishna. If Krishna would say that, okay, if you remember, if you think of me 5 years or 10 hours of your life, then you'll come back to me. Then what would we do? Would remember Krishna for 10 years and then, okay, again become casual. But Krishna has made a transcendental trick on us. You have to remember me at the time of death. And I don't know what is the time of death. That means Krishna wants me to remember him every single moment. Means Krishna wants me to fall in love with him. If you don't fall in love with me, then how can you remember me at every single? That is the inner meaning. Prema pumartha mahan. You have to love me. The essential message of this text is that you have to love me. Without loving me, you cannot remember me. You cannot think of me all the time. Therefore, this particular point, remembering, will become more clear when we hear the manmana bhava. Manmana. You become manmana, not just remembering. Manmana. Think of me. Or Machita Madgata Prana, Prabhupada translates as, my devotees' thoughts dwell on me. I am their home. They dwell in me. Not just sporadic remembrance. No. Constant thought of Krishna. Thought of Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we stop here, and if there's any comments, questions, or reflections, this particular series of verses from 8th chapter is one of the most beautiful section in Bhagavad Gita. That Krishna is inviting us, come and love me, fall in love with me. And then I assure you will come back to me. Nastatra samshaya. Hare Krishna. Okay, Shantara Gunagapam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavata. So I have a question on the first shloka. Arjuna asked about what is Brahma, what is Adhyatma, what is Karma, what is Adhibhuta and Adhidaiva. Adhibhuta and Adhidaiva, they are mentioned in the last two shlokas of the last chapter. But why Arjuna asked about Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma? These already explained in the previous chapters.
Yes, it is.
Especially why Brahma
It
actually.
is explained in the previous chapters, Brahman and Karma, but there it was in context to referring to how one should act, what kind of activities, nishkam karma, shakam karma. In those contexts, Krishna was explaining that. But in the 7th chapter, end of the 7th chapter, when Krishna referred to karma, Brahma, Adhyatma, then again it triggered Arjuna to ask this question again. What kind of karma is that you want me or you want us to be free from, and which will eventually transfer me towards to your loka? Now when Krishna say that you from in the 7:30:31 that one who is free from that karma, they'll jara marana mokshaya, they can come beyond their old age and death. So what kind of karma is there? So again Krishna is saying in a short message that it's fruitive activities. So if we give up fruitive activities, just like Rishabdev in the 5th canto, he said that because of the fruitive activities, nunam puramatte kurute bikarma. So by there he mentions about bikarma, means which is prohibited activities. But any fruitive activities are also prohibited when you look from the devotional perspective. So therefore Krishna is saying that any fruitive activities you have to give up. So he is not giving any in detail explanation, which was in connection to that karma bikarma, and why Arjuna should fight, all these things. But here it is not in that context. Just what kind of karma, what do you mean by karma that one should be free from? Okay. What was the next question, Prabhu?
This was the question, bro. I did not understand the context of this question. And Krishna also in just one shloka answered 4 of the questions.
Yes.
And on Kale Chamaveva and about the Prayana-kale, he explained in details.
There it is almost like a deeper explanation about the whole action and reaction and the whole chain of action and reaction, which was needed in that context because Arjuna did not want to fight. or he was confused. So therefore Krishna has to convince him that this is not going to affect you like this. But when Krishna said that if you become free from karma, then you'll come back to me, then Arjuna asked this question, what is that karma that I can come back to? So Krishna said, through fruitive activities. As Prabhupada answered that, Prabhupada answered, any fruitive activities. Hare Krishna. Suchitra Revati Mataji.
Hi Krishna, Pranam Prabhu. Prabhu, thank you for the divine class. Prabhu, I have a question. Can I ask?
Yes.
Alright. Prabhu, as you have said that how much we have to become so much serious to remember Krishna at the time of death. Also, Prabhu, we hear sometimes devotees saying, especially during a Rath Yatra, कि रथी च वामन दृष्टा पुनर्जन्मना विद्याते. So, is it like कि when we will take darshan of Lord Jagannath, when he gets on the rath, we will not take birth again? So, is it like we will all return to back to God?
Thank you, Mataji. This is an eternal doubt. Many devotees ask this question, and they think that just by one glance of Lord Vamana, Jagannath in the Ratha, one will not get birth again. See, we can see this from different perspective. One perspective in the scripture is that whatever is mentioned in the scriptures is always truth. But the scripture also teaches us in various levels, sometimes encouragement, sometimes instruction, sometimes mandates, sometimes contrasting, sometimes sometimes by using some scary words. Just like Krishna said that in like Shipami Ajashrami Ashrijani Shambhabami. If you don't follow my words, then I'll put you eternally in the Ashrijani, something like that. So and Ishopanishad also he found some words like that. But the point is, ultimately the point is to make us Krishna conscious. So if you remember Krishna, if you see Krishna on the Ratha, why only on Ratha? Why not on the altar? If you see Krishna on the altar, will you not get benefit of it? So it is a special encouragement by the devotees. It is more about, it is not about the devotees' achievement by seeing Jagannath or Lord Baman on the Ratha and get the result, but it is more about Krishna's glories. The glory of Krishna, that he comes out of the temple 1-2 days in a year and gives darshan to everyone. So this is more a message of encouragement or a devotional invitation to those people who are not at all interested to go to Krishna. You come and see Krishna, he'll not get reward. But it's not so easy like that. It's not as plain as we think. Just by one glance of it may happen if Krishna wants it, if he can do that. Who knows? Maybe just by one glance of Lord Jagannath, who knows, at the time of death, Lord Jagannath may pop up his mind. Immediately he may come up his mind at the time of death. Who knows? We never know that. Therefore, it is invitation. If you don't do anything, at least come and see Lord Jagannath. You'll not get. Just like in Bhagavatam, second canto, there are slokas in the second chapter. Even once, if one pays obeisances to Krishna, then he'll not come back to this material world. But how many times we have paid our obeisances to Krishna? We know that how much struggling it is for us in the spiritual life. So these are all some encouraging words for us, and we should respect those words, because in any case, the more you see Krishna, the more you go close to Krishna, you remember him, and you are by seeing, by remembering, by thinking of him, we are getting purified. And the more purified we are, it is easier for us to remember him more and gradually fall in love with with him more. Therefore, they are saying that come and see, pay obeisances, do some service. But my humble understanding is that it is mainly for those who are very new in Krishna consciousness. Means all for all of us. But for the Mahabhagavatas, those who are always absorbed in Krishna. So does that mean that a Mahabhagavata Vaishnava who doesn't go out in the street and see Lord Jagannath has to come back? And I and you saw Lord Jagannath there, therefore we will not come back. No, it's not like that. Any person sees Lord Jagannath and then go and watch television, he'll come back. He will not come back. And the Mahabhagavata will spend his whole life in remembering Krishna, but he could not go to Rath Yatra, he will come back. That is very superficial understanding, very shallow level understanding. So it is encouraging words and also helping us to purify our consciousness. Okay. Does that make sense, Mataji?
Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna. Jagadish Govinda. Yeah, one more question.
Wonderful. Prabhu, why it is said regarding Vamana Vishnu? And who said this rule?
I don't know who said or why Vamana. Vamana is Krishna's form, any form.
Prabhu, is it like Bali Maharaj says Vamana?
No, this is from one Puran, I think. Skanda Puran, Padma Puran. I don't know exactly. I can't remember. I know, but I can't remember now which Puran it is. Not Bali Maharaj. Any name of Krishna can be used. In many verses we see in the scripture, they used other names also.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, actually, by listening to you today, that confidence level has gone down to any level. Because as you said, Antakale Mamecha Saran Mukta Kalavaram, like that you said. That I was till date, I was thinking that it is listening itself is good enough. But remembering from inside, it is not that giving some pulse somebody and I'm generating some kind of so no artificial sense to remember him, but it is not possible as you said. Then confidence level is how to strongly reinforce in me so that I can keep Krishna always embedded in my heart, so I cannot lose at any point of time. That is one. And second question is, Prabhu, that apart from this 8.5, another consequences are there where it is explained that one after death one need not to take birth, like 4.9, then 8.5, then 18.67 or like that. So jo idam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshu abhidashyati bhakti mui param kitta mamebo isasya asamsaya. Those who are describing this, so these are the other these are the parallel lines. These are other parallel lines, or all lines are coming and falling to this 8.5. That is my question, Prabhuji.
The last portion I didn't understand. What is that?
Prabhuji, apart from Mamevo, there are other parallel lines, Prabhuji, like 4.9. Janmo karmo chame dibbam ebang jo vitti tattato takta dehang punarjanma noiti.
We should have a consolidated understanding of this verse. That is why Krishna said Antakale. Antakale means what? As I told you almost at the end of the class. No? Antakale means you don't know when is your Antakal. That means you have to be always Krishna conscious.
And another Prabhuji also, that is said that jo idam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshu abhidashyati bhakti mui param kitta mame vi isasya asamsaya. 18.67 or like that.
Those things we'll be discussing when we'll go there. When we'll go there. But the consolidated understanding is that what is knowing Krishna? What is knowing Krishna? Janma karma chame dibbam evam jobeti. Krishna's janma and karma are dibya. And one who knows that. Is it easy to know Krishna's janma and karma? Krishna will just give one high temperature Temperature 103 today, day after tomorrow, day after tomorrow. For next 5 days, 103 temperature. Then we'll be tested whether we know Krishna's Janma and Karma or not. We'll immediately, Krishna, I have done so much for you, and now you're putting me in the bed. What is your karma? I don't understand your karma. So in the 9th chapter, when we'll go, we'll see this in more details. It's not so easy. Therefore, don't read Bhagavad Gita just only one unit. Sometimes devotees say that I finished first unit and I understood everything. No, there is so much to learn, so much to come. Especially the Bhakti unit, Bhakti section has to be understood deeply. So the consolidated understanding is that Antakala Chamamava means Sharvakale Chamamava Sman Mukta Kaleva. I don't dare to change the shloka of Bhagavad Gita, but that is actually the meaning, Sharvakale Chamamava. So your first question was how to do that. Yes, we can do that. There are various levels. First of all, one has to make Krishna as the goal of his life. Mam ekam sharanam braja. So we have to constantly remind ourselves, the ultimate purpose of my life is to return to Krishna, is to get back to Krishna. So that should be the overriding principle for the whole life. That why I am doing this. Prabhu, can you keep this mic mute, Prabhu? It will be easier for me to concentrate. So always think this, okay, why I am doing this? I want to go back to Krishna. The ultimate purpose is to return to Krishna. So begin the day. I'm trying to give some practical tips. It may help. Like begin the day, as soon as you get up early in the morning, we think that this life is Krishna's life. And as soon as we get up, therefore the devotees are taught to pay obeisances to Lord when they get up, chant some auspicious pranam mantra. So you can make this a habit. For example, when I get up, I try to chant Krishna, Krishna Govind. So as soon as you open your eyes, you should chant Krishna's name. So begin your day with Krishna and offer obeisances to your Guru, to Srila Prabhupada, to the previous Acharyas, Vaishnava Pranam. So why? Because this is priority. I set my priority. Every single moment you have to set our priorities. As soon as I get up, okay, I'm beginning the day with simple meditation. This life, oh Krishna, I want to remember your lotus feet all the day. So please help me. And I want to remember you throughout the life, throughout my day, even at the time of my final moment. I want to remember it. Not that, okay, only today. So you got the point? And there's a difference. I don't want to remember only today. I want to remember you always. But today is one of the most significant days in my life. So today also I want to remember it. Tomorrow also I want to remember it. Day after tomorrow also I want to remember it. So like that we think like that. Then we take shower, and while taking shower, we go to washroom, we take shower, we brush our teeth. Then in your mind you can always chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So always you can think of that. It is easy. It is easy for us if we know that life is for Krishna and I have to get back to Krishna, then why don't I remember Krishna now? Because anyway, at the time of, when I have to leave the body, at the end of my life, I will go back to Krishna. So if I want to go to Krishna, live with Krishna, if I do not love Krishna, I cannot stay with him. This is simple logic. If I don't love someone, how can I stay with that person for the rest of eternity? So if I have to stay with Krishna, I have to develop my attachment, love to Krishna. If I have to develop my attachment to Krishna, I have to always remember him. Abhashajaga juktena chetashananagamina. It will come in the next class. So Abhyasa yoga, practice. So we have to remember Krishna. So while taking shower, you are remembering Krishna. You are brushing teeth, you are remembering Krishna, thinking Krishna. In your mind, you can thank Krishna. Krishna, thank you so much for another beautiful day. And and chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sometime you will see, not sometime, many times we see, especially in the university hostels, and they'll go to bathroom, the boys, then they'll sing so many songs while taking shower. Instead of that, you chant, you loudly chant, you sing some bhajan. Find out your most favorite bhajan. Which one is most favorite to you, and make that as a habit. For example, I used to sing Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari while taking shower. So this is one of my most favorite. Then there are some other ones like Prabhu Tava Pada Juge More Nivedan. So like that, you find out your own set of verses or bhajans which you like most, because you can easily connect. You can quickly connect to that. It is close to your heart's emotions. So you can sing those bhajans, or sometimes Vaishnava Thakur Dayal Shagar. But best is if you can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Other things are also. So chant those things, and then after it may sound mechanical, but one day that mechanical thing will ultimately go to, eventually it will go to our loving remembrance. And while chanting also, try as much as possible not to become mechanical. It sounds like mechanical, but try not to become mechanical, like Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So you can focus on the words, syllables of Hare Krishna mantra. Then we come back, we put tilak, and we know that this is for Krishna's pleasure. We are putting tilak. Then we go to the altar, we wake up the deities, and then we sing Samsara Davanala. So while singing Samsara Davanala, don't just sing. Samsara Davanala. Try to meditate on the meaning. We should try meditate on the meaning. Oh, I am fallen into this samsara sagara, this samsara davanala. So my Gurudev is like the pouring of the clouds, the rain shower, and he is delivering me from this. So my dear Gurudev, kindly accept my respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet. Vande Guru Shri Charanar Vindam. So every single verse, every single stanza, you can remember the meaning of it. So it helps, it is helping you to becoming more and more detached, disgusted about the material life and getting attached to Krishna. And then we read, when you read and reflect, when you read, then don't just mechanically read. Reflect on the Shastra, what is written there. Some 10, 15 minutes or 20, 30 minutes, deep reading. Deep reading. When we read, we take the book and we just absorb. So shut down everything, shut off everything, just read. When you're reading, we're focusing. So we are, in this way, our mind is getting habituated, accustomed to always think of Krishna. As soon as that time comes, and then we can, when we are cooking, we know that we are cooking for Krishna. So during cooking also we can chant with proper mindset. No, this is for Krishna. Keep it very nice and clean, neat and clean. Krishna, and in mind offer it to Krishna. I'm trying to offer this service to you. So not only just offering plate with rice, dal, sabji, puri, this whole cooking you please accept as offering to you. This is service, you please accept as offering to you, like that. And then make a habit of taking only Krishna prasad, nothing else. Before eating, I'll offer everything to Krishna and not eating things which are made by others. And then also you can fill your whole surrounding with Krishna. You can have proper chanting box whole day playing, or your some Mahabhagavata, other pure devotees singing, or kirtans, lectures are always played in your room. You can decorate your room where you're staying with Krishna's picture, with calendars, your favorite verses. Sometimes devotees they do that. Your favorite verse, sometimes they stick on the wall, like that. Whenever you are going out, ensure that your chanting bead bag is with you. Of course, there are some situations it may not be feasible to take, but if some situation it is possible, When we are going to washroom, that's another thing. But in other cases, we can always take our bit bag with us. So means I'm trying to remember Krishna. I'm Krishna conscious of Krishna. And sometime we can have one more practical thing we can do, like every day give a pause in your life for 10 minutes. For 10 minutes. Just think of Krishna wherever you are sitting. For example, I'm now on my desk. Okay. So now we are in class, but after the class, there might be some other works. Of course, it will be all connected to this, but still I can just keep everything on pause and think of how merciful Krishna is, how much Bhakta Vatshal he is, what is Chaitanya, some pastimes of Mahaprabhu, Sri Ramchandra Bhagavan, Krishna, I can remember. You can just simply say, if you can't remember anything, just say, Krishna, I am yours. Please accept me, Krishna. Is this not beautiful? Just pause for a few seconds and Krishna, I don't belong to anybody else. I'm just yours. So small things. It's very small, but so much powerful. And while eating, taking Krishna Prasad, honoring Krishna Prasad, before remembering the Mahaprasad mantra, meditating on that. We're going walking to some place. On this, I have given one Bhagavatam class in Mayapur. I can't remember the shloka number exactly, that how to remember Krishna always. There are three phases in our daily life. Like when our mind is free, when our mind has nothing specific to think, and when we are thinking something, and when we are actually doing some work with full attention. In those three phases, how we can remember Krishna. You may Google that in YouTube, find that there are some practical tips how to think of Krishna during those times. And then also, one of the most powerful thing is what? Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha. So try to associate with Krishna's devotees. Spend time with them, devotees, whose life is centering around Krishna, whose life is filled with Krishna. Their words and their lifestyle will naturally remind you of Krishna. As soon as you come in contact with them, you just watch them for 5 minutes, observe them for 10 minutes. Such a relief. Krishna conscious, like sadhus actually, by not doing anything, they do so much. Real sadhus, by not doing anything, they do so much. I mean to say, sometimes they don't do anything, but they just exist. And by seeing their existence, by how they live in their life, other people, life can also be like this. At least there is some solace. Okay, we can also live life like this. So they're not preaching, they're just keeping quiet. But just by seeing their activities, observing their activities, without spending even a single word, we can have some. This is the reason why when we go to our spiritual masters or some exalted Vaishnavas, we feel blissful. Why? Because we are tormented in our daily life. But when we go to the devotees, we see them, they are at least they are not tormented. At least they are relieved. So by seeing the people who are relieved, we also feel sometimes relieved. So go in there, like Bopu Association, see them, and then you can also get some good tips from them, ask them some Krishna conscious questions, join with their classes and kirtans. Sometime even a small WhatsApp message, some reply from a devotee. It's a 5-line or 10-line answers. But that 5-line can change your whole 5-line of life. And read, absorb in that message, read several times, read that message again and what they want to say. So sometimes some posts are like that. And avoid non-Krishna conscious posts and that thing. Maintain some Krishna conscious notebook if you want. Sometimes they will say they write their realization on that, or some self-assessing questions. When did I remember Krishna today? Ask as this a question, some set question. okay, this many times I have remembered Krishna. And how can I improve tomorrow? Like that, there are many things we can try. And then finally, at the end of the day, when you retire for the day, chant some rounds again. It should not be your 16 rounds. Your 16 rounds should be done before. So prior to that, and then chant some good rounds, some 2-3 rounds, or hear some your favorite bhajan. Read one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam or Srimad Bhagavad Gita, whatever you like, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And sleeping with the thought, Krishna, please appear in my dreams if possible. Don't make my sleep only in mood of ignorance. Please, if possible, please come and please let me remember you even in my sleep. So these are some very simple things he can follow when one can follow if the one. Means devotee should be introspective. Think that what is helping me in my Krishna consciousness? Do that thing, repeat that process. And what is taking my mind away from Krishna? Reject that. Pratikulasha Varjanam. Singing bhajan, do that repeatedly. Chanting, do that repeatedly. Speaking to the devotees, do that repeatedly. Whatever makes you Krishna conscious, do that repeatedly. In that way only. So sometimes devotees, they aspire to, those who are a good cook, they aspire to live their last breath in cooking, while cooking for Krishna. Sometimes devotees want to chant Krishna's name and live their body by chanting. Sometimes they wish to speak on Krishna Katha, speaking, and gone. Finished. Life is gone. The most beautiful. Speaking Krishna Katha, and maybe you have so much pain in your body or some problems in you, but getting so much bliss in Krishna Katha, they don't want to stop. They want to continue. And then the body says, no, I can't handle it anymore. Okay, gone. Finished. And he has gone back to Krishna. Outer world is saying that, okay, he could not hold himself, or he could not survive anymore. But actually he's transferred to Krishna Lok. Like His Holiness Gaur Govinda Maharaj, when he was speaking Krishna Katha. And at one point he could not speak anymore, because the feelings were so intense in Krishna separation. Sometimes we say now in this material world, like the boys and girls, they said, I cannot live without you. I will die. I'll die without seeing you. So similarly, a devotee who is absorbed in Krishna, they also say, Krishna, if I can't see you now, I will die. And they die. So Maharaj left his body like that. Yes, so much intense separation. Krishna, and died. So the external world will not understand that. Hey, maybe he had heart attack or stroke, something like that. But it is separation from Krishna. In Krishna Katha, they are getting so much bliss. Because when someone is your lovable object, your loving object, Premashpada, you get so much bliss in speaking about them. So much that they come and say, hey, stop now. No, I can't stop. I want to speak more about him and to glorify him more. So they cannot just do like that. Like a few days back, my spiritual master was giving one class to a troop brought by His Grace Radhesham Prabhu. And Guru Maharaj was mentioning that Srila Prabhupada told me to join in Krishna's army. I am still in the Krishna's army. I want to continue, but my doctor panel and my secretary, they don't allow me. But I don't want to hear them. I want to continue. So, like that. Srila Prabhupada, while in the deathbed, I mean, last moment he was doing purports of Bhagavatam. Can you imagine when people are thinking about, okay, please bring my will paper, call my family relatives, and he's talking about Krishna. So therefore, while you are in this material world, get detached now from everything. So that at the time of death, you don't have to think about them. Think about only Krishna. Okay, at the time of the people may say, okay, this person is so harsh, so rude, so cruel, so heartless. He's not at all thinking about the family members. Okay, what is the value of their talks? After 2 minutes, you are going to leave this place. They may tell so many things, but you know that those last 2 minutes were the most crucial moment of your life. You remember Krishna? You have gone back. Let them rot here in this material world. Who don't understand, let them rot here. Devotees are not fools. They're not stupids. They know what is to be done throughout my life. And remember Krishna. So one day we want such a life that 24 hours there should be Krishna consciousness. 24 hours there should be katha, 24 hours there should be kirtan, 24 hours there should be remembrance, 24 hours there should be chanting, dancing. But now what we are doing? 24 hours, out of 24 hours, maybe maximum 2 hours we are trying to do something, and 22 hours for Maya Devi. This is not life. This is wretched condition. This is not developed condition, elevated condition, the wretched condition. Real life is 24 hours Krishna, 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 Krishna. And Bhakti Thakur says, therefore says, Krishna bolo, sange chalo. Eikhane ki karo? What are you doing here? Come with me. Go to Krishna. Come to Krishna. So always think of Krishna. Always be absorbed in Krishna. So we want to go back to Krishna so that in Golok Vrindavan, 24 hours Krishna, 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 Krishna. No more job, no more education. No, there is no school, college, hospital. There is no university. There is no fellowship. There is no degree. There is nothing. Only Krishna, 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 Krishna. So thinking of the butterfly, that a scorpion also has become butterfly like that. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Puja Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranam. Actually, related to this only, Prabhu's question, I just want to, one more doubt is there, Prabhuji. Even in class, I got my answer, but I'm little confused. Like before some days, almost 1 week or 4 or 5 days before, we were performing our Sandhya Arati. Prabhu was not there. Myself and kids were there at the home, and suddenly this attack happened. So after finishing our Arti, almost we are doing our chanting with kids, because kids in morning they were not able. So we are sitting with the kids, and in evening at least we are doing 1 round or 2 round chanting. So that time, yes, we were doing our chanting, Prabhu, but like kids were fine. They didn't understand what's going on. The sound was coming, and they don't know. They were chanting. So, but like I was chanting from the mouth, I was chanting only, but inner, I was just thinking about Prabhu. He's on the way. If how he will come back, and I was trying to calling, and unfortunately, Prabhu's phone broken, because in office there is a panic. They were saying, go out, move from here. That side, the situation was worse. And Prabhu was not taking my call. So I was thinking, like, yes, I was not attached innerly from Krishna. But what
Okay.
to say, like,
We have to practice gradually, Mataji. It won't come overnight. But at least if we are sincerely trying, then at the time of death, if we cannot do that, finally, it does not depend on us fully. It is Krishna's grace. So if we are sincere throughout the life, then at the time of death, as Srila Prabhupada mentions, that Krishna will remember you. If you have sincerely remembered Krishna throughout your life, then at the time of death, by mistake, by chance, if you forget, or you are panicking, you are thinking something else, then Krishna will help you. But for that, throughout our life, we have to be very serious. Your this incident remind me about one of the things which also it also happened with my spiritual master when he joined in 1968. One day they were driving. The temple president was actually the driver, but that day, my spiritual master was told by the temple president, "You drive." So he was driving. He was quite young at the 18 or 19 at that time. So when they were driving, and both of them were very exhausted after coming from one program. So somehow could not balance, and the car was almost on the footpath, on the sidewalk way, and it was almost going to bang with some trees or something, and then the temple president, hey, he immediately took the control and tried to stop the car, but somehow the car was rolling, and it fell few feet from there away. And after that incident happened, then the temple president was right that moment when this accident happened. So my Guru Maharaj just chanting, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. He was shouting like that. So after that incident, the temple president told that you were fortunate because you are brahmachari. At that time, he was brahmachari. You're brahmachari, you have no family, therefore you could scream Krishna, Krishna. But you know what happened when that accident happened? I was thinking about my wife and my children, what will happen to them if I die now. So you are fortunate. So that is, I just reminded, because if we have these things in our life, belongings, but anyway, now we are not saying that we artificially get out of all these things, but that entanglement is not desired. Family will be there, husband, wife, children will be there, but the attachment, the ashakti, should be developed to Krishna. So in that panicking moment, when you could not reach Prabhu, you could just pray to Krishna, Krishna, he is your son first, my husband second. So please protect your son and let me peacefully remember you. It is your responsibility to protect your son. So then he can take care of him and you remember Krishna. Another incident I remember, another pastime of Srila Prabhupada. During the 1940s, when there was constant bombing in Calcutta by the Allied force, and the Japanese were bombing, and Srila Prabhupada wanted to take, he was not in Sannasashram that time, he was in the householder life. Prabhupada said that, Maharaj, let us go out and chant with Mridanga and Kartal. Maharaj said, Pagal, how can we go now? Now there is a constant bombing outside. Prabhupada said, so what? We'll chant Hare Krishna, let bomb comes and we'll die and go back to Krishna. So we should not misunderstand it as, okay, he intentionally did that so that bomb comes in and all. He's so much attached to Krishna that even he does not care about bombing. It's not that I go intentionally to bombing. No. So we should take care of ourselves, but at the same time, remember Krishna. So therefore, daily invest your time in doing something worthwhile, as I said. So it will help at the end of your life. Anyway, thank you. I think today again we got late. Sorry for that. Please excuse me. Getting late, we should put a cap on the class timing. Anyway, those who have missed, it is in the YouTube, they can listen again. Upachindamani Prabhu, you wanted to say something?
Krishna Prabhu, Dhanuvat Maram. I think your guest already mentioned that, whatever I was thinking. So again, but I want to mention it again. Like I was thinking, like how privileged I am to be in this esteemed group of devotees, and especially I had the opportunity to hear from your grace. Of course, like Krishna is explaining through Arjun Mahashaya's questions, but maybe it would be very difficult if I could not get that opportunity to hear from you. So today I was thinking like the main points of today's class is like how to be emotionally attached to Krishna and how to be absorbed to Krishna and not wasting a second. And while you were discussing this topic, I was thinking like how fortunate I am that I have the opportunity to meet some person who demonstrate these things in his personal life and his personal values and everything. So I was thinking, like, if we have someone, some idol in our life, then maybe it's very easy to understand these things, and maybe I get the conviction that yes, Krishna is saying this, and this is actually possible in reality. So previously I used to think like Bani association is most important, but now I think Bopu association of with pure devotees is also very important, because as you was mentioning, that if we just watch them, then we can learn many things. So I was thinking of your grace, and I was very, very privileged that I had the opportunity to associate with your grace. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for everything.
Hare
Hare
Krishna. Yeah, Prabhupada. I just now I remember about that Indra and Dhritarashtra, both of them were at the verge of death actually in that battle. But Indra was taking shelter of that Vajra. And Dhritarashtra was saying that, okay, you come and kill me. I don't care because I am remembering Krishna. Even though he was in a demon's body, but he was depending on Krishna. And Indra was in a demigod's body, but he is thinking, oh, this Vajra will protect me. Dhritarashtra thought, no, Krishna is there. Krishna will do whatever he wants to. So that is the ultimate protection for a devotee. So the external appearance, it doesn't matter. Even though I may look like, as you said, I may look like as in a privileged position, in an exalted position, so-called, and you may say that, okay, you are like in Dhritarashtra, but you are actually in constant remembrance of Krishna. But I am that full Indra who is trying to take shelter of Vajra Prabhu. So in fact, I have learned seeing you and your good family, Mataji and Mahadviti Prabhu, that how beautifully the Mahadviti Prabhu was shouting Krishna, Krishna at night, even when we were coming back from some program, and he was Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. And all the neighbor would become awake hearing that chant. So, natural flow. So, it does not matter what is our external position, but we should always be remembering Krishna. I remember His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, who left his body in Pennsylvania, Gitanagari farm, and His Holiness Radhanath Shastri Maharaj was with him at that time. He was crying for Krishna in complete absorption, left his body. So for a devotee, it doesn't matter wherever he is situated, but he is always focused in Krishna. Devotees cannot leave even a single moment without remembering Krishna. That's not possible for them. We can't stay. Just like an addict cannot live even one moment without his ingredients. Similarly, a devotee cannot live without Krishna. At the time of death, we think so many things, but what Srila Madhavendra Puripad did, Oye Dinadayadranaatho Mutharanatho Kadavalakush Tadaloko Hridayam Kataram Daita Brahmati Kim Karam. My dear Muthuranath, where are you? Where are you, Muthuranath? I want to see you, please. What shall I do now in your absence by not being able to see you? My heart is craving for you. Please do something for me. By saying this, he left his body. We discussed this in our Ishopanishad, because devotees, they love Krishna so much, so much, so much, that at the time of death, what do? Eureka moment. Oh my goodness, for throughout my life, I have been going through so many tortures from my A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I don't want to mention their name. Because they all are trying to pull me from Krishna towards them. But now this is the final moment. This is the uniting moment for my beloved and me. So they actually eagerly wait for that moment. Krishna, please, 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 please speed up my death. I want to go back to you. And to go back to you. Otherwise, managing both sides is very difficult. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shramata Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hare.